Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Legacy here. Today, we're exploring a pretty wild fanfic scenario. What if Naruto ate Hie-Hie fruit? The fruit that Akiji has. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you're always in the loop when a new one drops. Let's set a small goal. 53 likes on this video. I know we can hit it. Alright, let's get into it. A midnight storm thundered above Konoha. Flashes of lightning split the sky, illuminating the colossal, nine-tailed fox rampaging at the edge of the village. The Kyuubi's roar sent tremors through the ground, its tails thrashing and flattening forests, its crimson chakra staining the night. Within a secret chamber below the Hokage monument, the air was thick with tension. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, cradled his newborn son, his face drawn and pale. Beside him, Kushina Uzumaki's breaths were shallow, a sheen of sweat clinging to her brow. But tonight, the usual sealing ritual had gone awry. Upon the altar, a circular seal arrayed with ancient symbols, a strange object lay next to the newborn. A midnight blue fruit, its skin swirling with frost-like patterns, radiating a cold that seemed unnatural even amidst the chaos outside. No one had seen it placed there. The toads, Jiraiya, even Sarutobi were baffled. Only the elderly Mito Uzumaki, present as a spiritual guide, seemed to sense its ancient weight. Her gaze lingered on the fruit, eyes clouded by something beyond fear. "Minato, what is that?" Sarutobi asked quietly, voice trembling. Minato shook his head. It appeared when we began the ritual. But there's no time. The Kyuubi howled, chakra battering the protective seals. Mito's hand pressed to the altar. "This fruit is not of our world. It calls to the desperate, to those on the brink. Be careful, Minato. Its power is as much a curse as a blessing." But they had no choice. The Kyuubi battered the last of the village's defenses. Minato's hands moved in practice seals, Kushina whispering her love into their child's ear. The ritual began. Chakra flared. The Kyuubi's chakra surged through the seal, fighting with all its monstrous will. At that moment, the baby Naruto cried, a sharp, unearthly wail that echoed against the walls. The fruit shimmered with blue light, as if recognizing the child's pain and loneliness. The markings on its surface pulsed, and the frost spread, encasing the altar in a thin sheen of ice. The chakra in the room changed. Minato and Kushina exchanged one last look. Then, with a final act of will, Minato completed the seal. The Kyuubi's chakra was sucked into Naruto, its howls becoming muffled, distant. The blue fruit dissolved into mist, flowing into the baby's body. For a heartbeat, the entire chamber was plunged into silence. Outside, the Kyuubi vanished in a burst of blinding white light. The storm stilled. Naruto Uzumaki, just hours old, slept quietly in his father's arms. His breath misted in the air, though the room had grown suddenly cold. 12 years later, the Hidden Leaf village bustled in the warmth of morning, but one boy's apartment was filled with the bite of winter. Naruto awoke, tangled in his thin sheets, breath fogging before him. He blinked, rubbing his arms. It was summer, but inside, a rime of frost clung to his windowsill. He shivered, not for the first time, wondering why his home never seemed warm. His morning routine was unchanged, ramen for breakfast, then dashing through the village, waving at people who did their best to ignore him. But today, as Naruto sprinted past the marketplace, a group of kids stared at him, whispering. One of them, Kenta, pointed and smirked. "Hey, it's the weirdo. Bet he can't even throw a kunai straight." Naruto scowled, but when he turned, something strange happened. A thin white mist curled around his feet, and as he stomped away, small, perfect snowflakes drifted in his wake. He didn't notice, but the other kids did. "Did you see that?" "It got cold," one whispered. Naruto reached the old academy training ground, heart pounding. "Why do they always look at me like that? What's wrong with me?" He clenched his fists. When he did, a sudden, sharp chill nipped his skin, and a tiny web of frost spread across his knuckles. He stared. There was something inside him. Something colder, deeper, older than the loneliness that had shadowed him his whole life. That night, in the Hokage's office, Sarutobi gazed at a hidden file, old paper crinkling between his fingers. A single, cryptic line was scrawled in Minato's handwriting. The fruit chose him. If the legends are true, he may become Konoha's greatest hope, or its greatest danger. The Sandaime exhaled, watching his breath fog in the lamplit room. even though the summer night should have been warm. He closed the file, eyes distant. Just what kind of destiny have you inherited, Naruto Uzumaki? The sun spilled golden light across the academy yard, catching on the nervous faces of a dozen new genin. Naruto Uzumaki was perched on a swing under a blossoming tree, knees pulled up, watching classmates gather in their groups. The morning air was brisk, and despite the warmth of the season, Naruto's breath fogged faintly, though no one else seemed to notice. He grinned, masking the nerves gnawing at his stomach. Today would be different. Today, he'd finally become part of a team. He glanced around, hoping for a friendly face, but most students avoided his gaze. Except for Sakura Haruno, who sat with her best friend Ino, and Sasuke Uchiha, alone as always, cool, distant, and silent. Irika-sensei's voice rang out, announcing the teams. Naruto barely heard anything until Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Your Jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hitaki. Naruto's heart leapt, but Sakura's groan brought him crashing back down. Why him? She mumbled, glancing at Sasuke. Naruto scowled, but as Sasuke walked past, their eyes met. For a heartbeat, Sasuke's cool stare softened, as if he saw something in Naruto, a flicker of cold, maybe, or just a hint of the loneliness he recognized in himself. Then he turned away, shoulders squared. Sakura finally approached. Don't get in my way, Naruto. Sasuke-kun and I. He interrupted with a goofy grin. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I'm going to be Hokage. I won't lose to Sasuke. She rolled her eyes. You're always talking big. Just don't mess things up, okay? Naruto bit his lip. I won't. I'll show them all. As they followed Irika inside, he felt the tiniest swirl of cold under his skin, a feeling he'd come to recognize as something other. A few hours later, Academy classroom. Team 7 sat in uneasy silence. Naruto's stomach rumbled. Sakura huffed. Sasuke brooded, arms folded. Naruto couldn't help glancing at the window, where a delicate frost pattern had begun to form on the glass. He blinked and looked away. At last, the door creaked open. In walked a man with gravity-defying silver hair, a mask over his face, and one visible eye lazily reading a bright orange book. Kakashi Hitaki regarded them with quiet amusement. Yo, sorry I'm late. I got lost on the road of life. Sakura straightened, whispering, he's so cool. Sasuke gave a barely perceptible nod. Naruto just gawked, then scowled. You're late. And you don't even look sorry. Kakashi blinked, then shrugged. Meet me on the roof. Let's see what you're all about. On the academy rooftop, the city stretched below, sunlight glinting off tiled roofs. Kakashi leaned back against the fence, arms folded, and eyed them one by one. Let's start with introductions. Likes, dislikes, dreams for the future. I'll go last. Sakura went first, gushing about someone special, her eyes on Sasuke. Sasuke, ever cool, simply said, I don't like much. I dislike a lot. My dream is to restore my clan and kill a certain someone. Naruto's turn. He hesitated, then forced a grin. I like ramen. I hate being ignored. And my dream is to become Hokage. So everyone has to acknowledge me. Kakashi studied him a long moment, gaze sharp. For just a moment, the wind shifted, carrying a breath of cold across the roof. Sakura shivered, looking puzzled. Kakashi's eye narrowed, as if sensing something off, but he said nothing. My name is Kakashi Hitaki. I have no intention of telling you my likes or dislikes. As for dreams, I have a few. He paused, then stood. Your real test begins tomorrow. Meet me at training ground 3 at dawn. And don't eat breakfast. You'll regret it. Naruto's stomach sank. Again with the no breakfast. Kakashi vanished in a swirl of leaves, leaving them blinking in his wake. That evening, Naruto's apartment. Naruto stared at the ceiling, sleepless. He replayed the day's moments. Sakura's doubt, Sasuke's silence, Kakashi's unreadable gaze. Above all, he remembered the cold that seemed to well up whenever he was nervous, or sad, or angry. He held out his hand, watching his breath mist over his palm. Tiny crystals sparkled in the air. What's wrong with me? He whispered. He remembered the looks, the way villagers always glanced away, the stories he'd heard whispered at his back. The cold wasn't just in the air. It was inside him, deep as bone. But tomorrow, he'd show them all. He'd be strong. He'd make Team 7 work, no matter what. Elsewhere, under the cover of darkness, in a distant office, Sarutobi watched frost creep along the edge of his window, even as the lantern glowed warm. He tapped his pipe, eyes troubled. Kakashi, keep an eye on Naruto. The fate of the village may be colder and stranger than any of us can imagine. The sun had barely risen over the Hokage monument when Naruto rushed through the sleepy village, excitement outpacing his footsteps. Today was the day Team 7 would receive their first mission as official Chunin. Naruto's breath formed small puffs in the morning air. He was too wound up to notice the trail of frost his sandals left behind on the cobblestones. Only a passing cat paused to sniff the chilly prints before scurrying away. He barged into the mission office, skidding to a stop beside Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura gave him a disapproving look. "You're late, Naruto." Again, Naruto grinned, rubbing the back of his head. "Sorry, I stopped for breakfast." Sasuke didn't look at him, but Naruto caught the corner of his mouth twitching in a near smirk. Before Naruto could say anything, the door slid open. Kakashi entered with his usual relaxed gait, orange book in hand. "Yo," Kakashi greeted, eye crinkling. "Ready for your first mission?" Naruto's answer was immediate. "Of course. Let's catch some real bad guys." Sakura shot him a skeptical look, but Kakashi simply nodded and led them into the main office. The Sandaime Hokage, wise and ancient, awaited with a scroll in his hands. Hokage's office. After the customary warnings and some grumbling from Naruto about boring chores, Team 7 was given their first D-rank missions: catching cats, weeding gardens, painting fences. It was tedious, but Naruto threw himself into each task with loud determination. Still, after a week of petty jobs, frustration bubbled over. Naruto banged his fists on the Hokage's desk. "Come on, old man. Give us something real. I didn't train to babysit pets." Sakura buried her face in her hands, mortified. Sasuke stared out the window, silent as always. The Hokage only chuckled. "Very well. You want a real mission, Naruto? You shall have one." He handed Kakashi a sealed scroll. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed as he read. "Escort mission to the Land of Waves," Kakashi announced. "We're to guard a bridge builder named Tsunade and get him safely home." Naruto's eyes sparkled with anticipation. Finally, adventure. The journey begins. Tsunade, an older man with a worn face and the smell of sake about him, eyed Team 7 skeptically. "These brats are my protection? Guess beggars can't be choosers." Naruto puffed up. "Don't underestimate me, old man. I'm gonna be Hokage someday." Kakashi patted Naruto's head, then addressed the team. "Let's move out. Stay alert. The Land of Waves is no playground." The road took them through peaceful forests, the air growing humid as they approached mistier territory. Naruto chattered endlessly, only pausing to challenge Sasuke or awkwardly try to impress Sakura. But as the trees thickened and the mist grew dense, an uneasy silence fell. Naruto felt it first, a prickling chill at the back of his neck, colder than the air warranted. He glanced over his shoulder, but nothing moved in the gray haze. Suddenly, a puddle shimmered unnaturally by the roadside. "Get down," Kakashi barked, shoving Tsunade aside. A chain lashed through the air. Two masked figures burst from the puddle, swords glinting, the demon brothers of the mist. Sakura froze, eyes wide. Sasuke sprang forward, kunai ready. Naruto hesitated, cold seeping up through his sandals, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. The demon brothers lunged, aiming for Tsunade. In a panic, Naruto thrust his hands out. A sharp, biting cold erupted from his palms. Frost crackled across the ground, encasing one brother's ankle in ice. The man cried out, stumbling. Sasuke's kunai flashed, knocking the second attacker aside. Kakashi appeared in a blur, subduing both with practiced ease. Sakura stared, eyes darting between the frozen ground and Naruto. "Did you?" Naruto stared at his own hands, still tingling with cold. Frost covered his fingertips. He swallowed, unsure if he should feel proud or afraid. Kakashi glanced at him, an unreadable look in his lone eye. "Good reaction, Naruto, but don't let your guard down. The real threats are still ahead." Tsunade gazed at the ice in stunned silence. That wasn't normal, was it?" Naruto just grinned, shakily. "Guess I'm special, huh?" Onward, into the mist. They pressed on, the mist growing heavier with every step. Kakashi seemed more serious, senses sharp. Naruto walked near the rear, flexing his cold fingers. He replayed the moment again and again. "What was that? I didn't use any hand signs. Was that my chakra? Or something else?" Sasuke fell back, walking beside him. For a moment, he studied Naruto's hands with a rare look of curiosity. That wasn't a normal jutsu. "What are you hiding?" Naruto looked away. "Nothing. I'm just awesome, that's all. Sasuke didn't press, but he didn't walk away either. Ahead, the mist thickened, swallowing the path. Sakura shivered. Tsunade clung tighter to his cloak. Kakashi's voice, quiet and cool, drifted back. Stay close. We're not alone. A silent shape flickered in the fog ahead. The glint of a massive blade. The air seemed to freeze. Team 7 tensed as a low, predatory voice cut through the silence. Well, looks like this mission just got interesting. A tall man stepped from the mist, bandaged sword across his shoulder, a hunter's gleam in his eye. Zabuza, the demon of the hidden mist. The narrow road twisted deeper into the mist, muffling the sounds of Team 7's footsteps and the uneasy clink of Tsunade's tools. The trees seemed to close in, their branches skeletal in the fog, as if the forest itself watched with silent anticipation. Naruto walked near the front, fingers tingling from the earlier burst of cold. He stole glances at his teammates. Sakura's jaw was tight, eyes flicking everywhere. Sasuke's brow furrowed in focus, his hand never straying far from his weapons. Even Kakashi, usually so laid back, moved with a tension that pressed on the whole group. The chill in the air was more than just weather. It was a warning. Suddenly, a massive blade spun through the mist, embedding itself in a tree with a shuddering crack. The steel was nearly as tall as Naruto, wrapped in white cloth stained with old blood. A silhouette emerged, tall and imposing, bandaged from nose to chin. His single, feral eye glittered in the gloom. Get down, Kakashi commanded, stepping in front of Tsunade. The others scattered, Naruto ducking low behind a stump, heart pounding. The man's voice was cold and mocking. Hatake Kakashi, copy ninja. I wasn't expecting such a welcoming committee for a simple bridge builder. Kakashi's single eye narrowed. Zabuza, the demon of the hidden mist. Zabuza grinned, his sword, Kubi Kirabocho, gleaming dully in the gray light. Hand over the old man, or I'll have to make this quick. Tsunade whimpered, clutching his satchel. Naruto gritted his teeth, summoning his courage, and a chill that rose from deep inside him, like a whisper in his veins. Mist and mirrors. Without warning, Zabuza weaved a single-handed sign. The mist thickened, clinging to skin and bone. Don't separate, Kakashi warned, but the world vanished in white. Naruto's vision blurred, ears ringing with the pulse of his own fear. He reached for a kunai, palms sweaty, but as his hand closed around the cold metal, the air around him seemed to grow colder. Frost laced the grass beneath his shoes. Suddenly, Zabuza was everywhere and nowhere, his presence oppressive in the mist. 8 points. Throat, spine, lungs, liver, so many ways to kill. Zabuza's voice whispered, drifting. I wonder which I'll choose. Naruto's heart thudded. His hand trembled. But then, he remembered Iruka's voice, firm and steady. Don't freeze. Your friends need you. Move. Sasuke's voice cut through the fog, sharp and angry. Don't let him scare you, Naruto. In that instant, Naruto felt something stir in his core, a cold, wild surge that wasn't quite chakra. Without thinking, he slammed his fist to the ground. A wave of frost exploded from his hand, racing along the earth. The mist recoiled, turning into glittering snow for a heartbeat, revealing Zabuza's outline behind Kakashi. Kakashi wasted no time. In a flicker of movement, he was in front of Zabuza, kunai meeting sword with a crash that sent sparks flying. Don't let him break your line, Kakashi called, eyes locked on the enemy. Naruto, wide-eyed, stared at the patch of icy grass. Sasuke looked at him, shocked, but nodded approval. Sakura quickly pulled Tsunade behind her, resolve shining in her eyes. Kakashi unleashed. The battle intensified. Zabuza was merciless, swinging his great sword with monstrous force. But Kakashi matched him, Sharingan spinning, matching every blow, reading every move. Yet Zabuza's jutsu turned the battlefield into a nightmare. Water clones erupted from puddles, attacking from all sides. Sasuke fought with desperate skill, protecting Sakura and Tsunade, but it wasn't enough. A water clone surged toward Naruto. Instinct screamed. He thrust his hands forward, and a jagged spear of ice erupted from the ground, skewering the clone in a burst of water. Naruto gaped, both thrilled and terrified. What was that? This isn't normal chakra. On the real battlefield, Zabuza trapped Kakashi in a watery prison. With the copy ninja immobilized, the tide turned grim. Naruto's pulse hammered. He caught Sasuke's eye. A brief, wordless exchange. We have to do something. Sasuke nodded, formulating a plan in seconds. Naruto, make as much noise as you can. Distract him. Naruto didn't need telling twice. Channeling the strange, cold power, he slammed his palm into the earth again. This time, a web of ice cracked through the mud, the cold biting Zabuza's ankles and making him stumble just as Sasuke hurled a shuriken past his head. The distraction was enough. Kakashi slipped free, water exploding everywhere. Teamwork and trust. The fight raged, but for the first time, Team 7 was working as one. Sakura guarded Tsunade with fierce determination. Sasuke covered Naruto, who used bursts of ice to disrupt Zabuza's jutsu and trip his clones. Kakashi, now free, revealed the full might of his Sharingan, copying Zabuza's water techniques, pushing the enemy back. Finally, with a devastating combo, Kakashi trapped Zabuza in his own water prison technique, kunai at the ready. But before he could finish it, two needles shot from the mist, striking Zabuza's neck. A boy in a white mask, delicate, almost beautiful, stepped from the trees. "I am a hunter Nin," the masked youth said softly. "Thank you for subduing the criminal. I'll take it from here." Kakashi studied him, suspicious, but relented. The masked boy carried Zabuza's limp form away, vanishing into the mist as swiftly as he'd appeared. Aftermath. The forest was still. Team 7, battered and soaked, gathered around Tsunade. Kakashi placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "That ice, you saved lives today." Naruto flushed, half proud, half afraid. I don't know how I did it." Kakashi's eyes softened. "Sometimes, our greatest strengths come from the things we fear." Sasuke grunted. "Not bad, Naruto." Sakura smiled, tension melting for the first time since the journey began. Tsunade looked at them, eyes shining with new respect. "Maybe you really are something special, kid." Naruto glanced at his cold hands. In that moment, for the first time, the chill inside him felt less like a curse and more like a promise, a strange, new power he might one day call his own. But deep in the mist, unseen eyes watched Team 7 with keen interest. And far away, in the darkness of Konoha's history, a hidden legacy of ice and fate began to awaken. The days that followed were tense, but strangely peaceful. Team 7 remained in Tsunade's humble home, recovering from their ordeal in the forest. Naruto ate bowls of hot soup at the kitchen table, Sakura and Sasuke quietly patched up their wounds, and Kakashi spent long hours in silent meditation, eye always half closed, watching the shadows outside. But beneath the quiet, every sound in the misty village held an edge of fear. Gaara's thugs roamed at night, and whispers of the demon of the hidden mist refusing to die kept even the bravest villagers inside. One morning, before the sun rose, Tsunade gathered the team. "We need to finish the bridge," he said, voice grave. "If I stop, all hope is lost for this country." Kakashi nodded, eyeing the thick mist outside. "We'll keep you safe." Naruto puffed out his chest. "I'm not afraid. Bring on all the bad guys." Sasuke crossed his arms, but there was no bite to his tone. "Don't do anything stupid, Naruto." Sakura squeezed her fists. "Let's do this together." They set off before dawn, crossing the half-finished bridge that stretched into gray, swirling fog. The ocean below was silent and cold, the surface so still it looked like a pane of glass. Ambush in the mist. The attack came suddenly. A kunai whistled past Tsunade's head, embedding in a wooden beam. In an instant, mist swirled and thickened, turning the world white. Figures emerged from the haze. Mercenaries, armed and desperate, but leading them were two far more dangerous presences. Zabuza, very much alive, strode forward, bandaged sword slung across his shoulder. Beside him, the masked boy, Haku, moved with a quiet, lethal grace. Naruto felt a strange tug in his chest as Haku's eyes met his, gentle and distant all at once. "Bridge builder. This ends today," Zabuza growled. Kakashi stepped forward, Sharingan revealed. Team 7. Protect Tsunade at all costs. Battle erupted in a blur of steel and chakra. Naruto ducked and dodged, kunai clashing against a mercenary's blade. He spun, heart pounding, and saw Sasuke holding off 3 thugs at once, eyes sharp and calculating. Sakura stayed close to Tsunade, deflecting attacks, determination hardening her features. But the true threat moved like wind. Haku, hands weaving signs faster than Naruto's eyes could follow. Mirrors and ice. In the center of the bridge, a circle of crystal mirrors bloomed out of thin air, encasing Sasuke and Naruto. Haku stepped through the glass, multiplying, his form reflecting infinitely. Sunban needles glittered in his hands. Naruto's breath caught. These mirrors weren't like his own accidental ice. They pulsed with something colder, sharper. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. I'll handle him. Get ready to break the mirrors. Naruto nodded, determination rising. He closed his eyes, searching for that deep, cold current within himself. When he opened them, the world felt sharper, quieter. Haku's sunban whistled through the air. Sasuke leapt, but one needle grazed his arm. Naruto gritted his teeth, thrusting his palm outward. Frost erupted against one mirror, spiderwebbing the glass, but not shattering it. Haku's voice was almost sad. You have ice too. What are you? Naruto answered without thinking. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I don't care what's inside me. I'll protect my friends. Haku's eyes softened, but his assault grew fiercer. Outside, Kakashi and Zabuza clashed in a furious dance. Sword and kunai, water and lightning, the bridge trembling beneath their fury. Breaking the circle. Inside the mirrors, Sasuke's movements grew desperate. The air was thick with cold. Naruto's chakra swirled around him, steam rising from his breath. With a sudden surge of will, Naruto slammed both palms against the icy ground. A shockwave of blue-white cold blasted outward, freezing two mirrors in jagged, crystalline shards. Haku staggered, form flickering. Sasuke, eyes burning with new power, leapt forward. Now, together, they smashed through the weakened mirror wall, bursting onto the bridge. Haku landed lightly, sadness in his stance. Sasuke glared. We won't lose. Naruto, panting, stared at the frost trailing from his fingertips. I did it. A moment of truth. Haku hesitated. You're strong. But Zabuza needs me. I can't stop. His sunban flew, but Naruto was faster now. He let instinct guide him, hands moving in a pattern he'd never practiced. A barrier of ice rose, shielding Sasuke and Tsunade. Kakashi's battle with Zabuza reached its climax. Sharingan spinning, he trapped Zabuza in a Jinjutsu, then countered with a jutsu copied moments before, a great dragon of water, slamming the swordsman into the bridge. Haku rushed to Zabuza's side, kneeling. Kakashi raised a kunai, ready to finish it, but Naruto leapt forward, heart thundering. Stop! He's not all bad. Don't kill him. Kakashi paused, eyeing Naruto. After a long moment, he lowered his weapon. Haku bowed his head, voice soft. Thank you for showing me mercy. Aftermath. The mercenaries fled, defeated. Zabuza and Haku, battered but alive, vanished into the mist. The bridge was safe. Team 7 slumped to the ground, exhaustion and relief mingling in the cold air. Tsunade's eyes shone with tears. You kids, you saved my life. You saved this country. Kakashi smiled, pride flickering in his weary gaze. You all did well. Naruto, especially. Naruto looked at his friends, at the frost still melting from his skin, and felt, just for a moment, a warmth stronger than any cold. As the sun finally pierced the mist, glinting on the finished bridge, Naruto realized. Maybe, just maybe, he belonged here after all. The morning after the battle dawned cold and clear. Sunlight shimmered on the new bridge, painting rainbows across lingering patches of frost. Tsunade's family prepared a small feast for Team 7, their home bustling with gratitude and laughter. For a brief moment, the shadow of fear that had hung over the village seemed to melt away. Naruto devoured bowl after bowl of soup, cheeks flushed with pride. Sasuke nursed a bandaged arm, but sat a little closer than usual, his silence less frosty. Sakura beamed as she helped Tsunade in the kitchen, telling the story of their victory for the 100th time. Kakashi, however, remained by the window, one eye fixed on the mist rolling over the distant river. After breakfast, as they prepared to return to Konoha, Tsunade stopped Naruto at the door. You saved us, the old man said, pressing a rough hand to Naruto's shoulder. This country will remember you. You too, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi. All of you. Naruto grinned, cheeks pink. Guess I'm not such a screw-up after all, huh? Tsunade winked. You're a hero now, kid. Never forget it. A farewell in the mist. The journey home was quieter, the path no longer haunted by the threat of unseen enemies. But as they crossed the bridge, Naruto lingered, staring into the mist below. Sasuke stopped beside him. Thinking about the masked boy, Naruto nodded, troubled. He was like me, alone, fighting for someone else. I hope he finds peace. Sasuke was quiet, and for a moment, the only sound was the wind skimming the water. Sakura joined them, hugging herself against the morning chill. We did the right thing, didn't we? Naruto nodded. Yeah, we did. Kakashi's voice called them forward, and together, Team 7 crossed the bridge into the promise of a new day. In the shadows, miles behind, hidden by swirling fog, two figures watched the bridge from the safety of the trees. Haku, unmasked, knelt beside Zabuza, who leaned heavily on his sword. Are you angry, Zabuza-san? Haku asked, voice quiet as the mist. Zabuza's gaze was hard, but there was a flicker of something else, a grudging respect. They spared us. No more debts. This world is colder than it looks. But those brats, maybe they'll change it. Haku smiled just a little. He was like me, the boy with the strange eyes. Zabuza grunted. If fate's got a sense of humor, we'll see them again. Next time, we won't hold back. They faded into the mist, lost to the world. Meanwhile, in Konoha, a council of elders gathered in a dimly lit chamber. Sarutobi sat at their head, eyes hooded with worry. A report from Kakashi, an elder, read, Naruto Uzumaki's abilities are evolving. He exhibits control over ice, with no precedent in Konoha history. Another voice hissed, the boy is already the Kyuubi's vessel. Now he wields this power too. Sarutobi's pipe glowed, smoke curling. He's still a child. What matters is how we guide him. We owe Minato that much. But if he can't be controlled, a voice pressed. Then he must be watched, Sarutobi said, gaze hardening. But not caged. Not yet. Outside, a chill wind swept over the Hokage monument, dusting its faces with a thin, glittering frost. Naruto's dreams. That night, Naruto lay awake, staring at the moon through a sliver of window. His hand hovered in the air, watching as breath became mist and tiny flakes of snow drifted down. Somewhere in the depths of his memory, a voice echoed, soft, feminine, ancient. This power is as much a curse as a blessing. But you are not alone, Naruto. He closed his hand, a small smile flickering on his lips. For the first time, the cold inside him felt less lonely. The land of waves faded behind Team 7 as they followed the winding forest path back to Konoha. The scent of the sea clung to their clothes, and Naruto found himself glancing back over his shoulder, half expecting to see Haku's pale mask glimmering in the mist. But the road was quiet, too quiet. Sakura yawned, stretching her arms behind her head. I never thought a mission could be that dangerous. Do you think we'll get in trouble? Kakashi walked at the front, hands in his pockets, unreadable as ever. You handled yourselves well. Missions don't always go as planned. What matters is that you trusted each other and made it back alive. Sasuke eyed Naruto, and that some people discovered something new about themselves. Naruto grinned, rubbing the back of his neck. Guess I'm full of surprises. But the truth was, the power inside him still scared him. Each night, his dreams were haunted by swirling frost and a distant voice he could never quite understand. A night under the stars. They camped in a small clearing, fire crackling and casting shadows on the trees. As the others dozed, Naruto crept away from the circle of light, settling at the edge of a moonlit stream. He cupped water in his hands. The liquid turned slushy and cold the moment it touched his skin. He stared, mesmerized, as tiny flakes danced over his palms. A faint rustle behind him. Naruto spun, kunai ready, but relaxed when he saw Kakashi. Can't sleep? Kakashi's voice was gentle, more so than usual. Naruto shrugged. Not really. It's like, there's something inside me, and it won't let me rest. Kakashi sat beside him, studying Naruto in the moonlight. You're worried about the ice. Naruto nodded. What if I hurt someone? What if I lose control? Kakashi looked out over the water, reflection rippling. Power is never the problem, Naruto. It's how you choose to use it. The people you trust to help you control it. He stood, placing a reassuring hand on Naruto's head. You're not alone. Remember that. Return to the village. By late morning, the walls of Konoha appeared on the horizon. The team entered the village to the polite applause of a few elders and the curious stares of children. Irika waited for them at the gates, face breaking into a smile. Welcome back, Team 7. Naruto beamed, soaking up the rare attention. But as they walked through the market district, a cold wind followed them, one that seemed to have nothing to do with Naruto. Merchants huddled at their stalls, whispering about strange weather, unexpected frosts, and odd happenings since Team 7's departure. Sasuke noticed, brow furrowed. Something's wrong here. Kakashi's eye narrowed. Stay alert. Confrontation, ice versus ice. As the team approached the training fields to report in, the temperature plummeted. Frost rimed the grass and glazed the trees, even under the midday sun. A lone figure stood in the field, cloaked in white. Haku's mask gleamed, but this time, he made no effort to hide. Sasuke tensed, stepping forward. "You followed us." Haku removed his mask, revealing gentle eyes tinged with sadness. "I came to say goodbye, and to give a warning. There are others who seek you, Naruto. Others with powers like ours." Naruto's heart thudded. You have eyes too, but it's different." Haku nodded, lifting a hand. From his fingertips, perfect shards of ice bloomed, swirling in the air before shattering into mist. "Ice mirrors are my clan's secret, but the cold in you, it's deeper, wilder." Naruto clenched his fists, uncertain. "Are you here to fight?" Haku hesitated. "No, I came to understand. To see if you would use your power for yourself or for others." Sasuke bristled. "He'll use it to protect, just like he did for us." Haku smiled softly. "Then I hope you'll never lose that warmth, Naruto." He stepped back, bowing low. "We'll meet again, I'm sure. Be careful. The world is changing." With that, Haku vanished in a swirl of icy mist, leaving the field bright and silent. Resolution. Naruto stood for a long time, breath curling white in the chilly air. Sakura placed a gentle hand on his arm. "Are you okay?" He nodded, determined. "Yeah, I think I understand a little more. About myself. About the power inside me." Kakashi's eyes softened. "Let's go, Team 7. Our journey is just beginning." As they walked back into the heart of the village, the last patches of frost melted away, sunlight glinting on water and grass. For the first time, Naruto didn't fear the chill inside him. He welcomed it, as a part of himself, and a promise of the strength he could become. The return to Konoha felt different this time. Even as Team 7 parted ways at the village gates, Naruto felt a sense of unity lingering between them, a thin, invisible thread connecting their hearts. Naruto made his way home, passing villagers who paused to watch him. For once, the gazes held curiosity, not just suspicion. Some even nodded in quiet acknowledgement. It made his chest swell with a cautious pride. In his tiny apartment, Naruto unpacked his things. He glanced at his window, where a single feather of frost still lingered, despite the afternoon sun. He pressed his palm to the glass and watched it melt beneath his touch. Maybe I really am changing. The next day, Academy grounds. Word of Team 7's mission spread quickly. Iruka greeted Naruto with a wide smile. "I heard what happened. You did well, Naruto." Naruto grinned. "We all did. Even the ice thing was kinda cool, literally." He scratched his head, embarrassed. Iruka's face softened. "There are many kinds of strength, Naruto. Remember, you're not alone. You never have to be." The words stayed with Naruto as he met up with Sasuke and Sakura for a rare day of rest. They walked together along the riverbank. The tension that once filled their silence is now replaced by a quiet camaraderie. Sakura turned to Naruto, voice gentle. "You risked a lot out there." "What?" Naruto looked down, then up at his teammates. "I guess. I know what it's like to feel alone. If I can stop someone else from feeling that way, I want to. That's why I'll protect you guys. No matter what." Sasuke stared at him, eyes unreadable. "You're an idiot," he muttered, but his tone was almost fond. "But I get it." Sakura smiled. "We're a team. We look out for each other." For the first time, Naruto believed it. A new resolve. As the days passed, Team 7 threw themselves into training with a renewed sense of purpose. Kakashi devised exercises that pushed them to the edge, speed drills, chakra control, even team strategy. Naruto struggled to blend his ice power with chakra, often ending with sheets of frost blanketing the ground or icicles hanging from trees. Yet with each failure, he learned a little more. Sasuke gave him pointers, sometimes gruff, but always helpful. Sakura encouraged him, her words gentle and supportive. Kakashi observed from the shade, a thoughtful expression beneath his mask. Growth comes from challenge. Don't fear your power, Naruto. Shape it. Late one evening, after everyone else had gone home, Naruto remained at the training field. He practiced forming ice clones. First one, then two. When he finally managed 3, he collapsed on the grass, laughing breathlessly. A shadow flickered at the edge of the field. For a split second, Naruto thought he saw Haku watching from beneath the trees, but the shape vanished as quickly as it came. Naruto smiled to himself, whispering into the dusk, "I won't let you down. Any of you." Elsewhere, unseen eyes. Far from Konoha, in the darkness of a cold, candlelit chamber, Orochimaru leafed through a weathered scroll, eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Ice from another world. yet sealed in Konoha's little outcast. He mused, snake-like tongue flickering. Interesting. Very interesting. Behind him, Kabuto took notes. Shall we proceed with the next phase? Orochimaru's lips curled into a predatory grin. Oh yes. Let's see just how far the boys will to protect can take him before it breaks. The days that followed brought a gentle peace to Konoha. Team 7's return from the Land of Waves had become the talk of the village, especially among the young genin, who crowded around Naruto whenever he passed through the market, hungry for stories of the ice battle on the bridge. Naruto basked in the new attention, though he played it off with sheepish grins and exaggerated tales that had Sakura rolling her eyes and Sasuke quietly smirking. Yet behind the laughter, a seed of pride began to sprout inside him. For the first time, people looked at Naruto not just as the outcast, but as a hero. But with every day that passed, the mystery of his power pressed heavier on his mind. Kakashi's guidance. On a quiet afternoon, Kakashi found Naruto alone at the training grounds, trying and failing to form a simple water clone. Instead of splitting, the water froze solid, forming a shimmering statue. Naruto groaned, sinking to the grass. Why can't I do it like everyone else? Kakashi sat beside him, watching the light refract through the icy clone. Sometimes our path isn't the same as those around us, Naruto. That's what makes us who we are. Naruto frowned, picking at the grass. Kakashi-sensei, what if my power hurts someone? What if I can't control it? Kakashi looked up at the clouds, thoughtful. You will make mistakes. We all do. But you have something others lack. The will to keep going, even when you're scared. That's more important than any jutsu. Naruto's shoulders relaxed. He nodded, quietly determined. Then I'll just keep getting stronger. A village that remembers. Elsewhere, Tsunade stood at the center of the completed bridge. A crowd of villagers gathered around him. The sun glinted off the stonework, illuminating a newly carved plaque at its base. The Bridge of Heroes, dedicated to the courage of those who fought for our freedom. He smiled, thinking of the blonde boy who'd risked everything for strangers. May his legacy live on in every stone, Tsunade whispered. Rumors in the wind. Back in Konoha, rumors spread like wildfire. Tales of a boy who could freeze water with a touch, who had stood toe-to-toe with the demon of the mist. Some villagers spoke in awe, others in quiet suspicion. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi considered a stack of reports, each stamped with the same cryptic word, devil fruit. He sighed, closing the file and gazing out the window. Frost was creeping along the corners of the glass, even on a warm spring morning. Minato, what have you left this village? He murmured. Team 7, bonds forged. Team 7's teamwork grew stronger with each mission, even the dull ones. Sasuke, once aloof, began to trust Naruto's instincts, quietly watching as his friend struggled and grew. Sakura stepped into her own strength, her healing jutsu now occasionally paired with clever teamwork and surprising courage. One evening, the three of them found themselves sharing dango on a rooftop, watching the stars blink above the sleeping village. Sasuke broke the silence. We're not the same as before. Naruto grinned. Of course not. We're awesome now. Sakura smiled, resting her head on her knees. Yeah, but I think we're also finally a real team. Naruto watched the moon, pale and round. For the first time, he felt like he belonged, not just to Konoha, but to a story that had only just begun. Deep inside, the cold stirred, no longer a stranger, but an old friend, waiting to see just how far Naruto's legacy would reach. Night fell over Konoha, painting the rooftops in gentle shades of silver and blue. Lanterns flickered in windows, and the hum of the village gave way to the hush of cicadas and distant running water. Yet in the shadows, not everyone slept. High above, perched on a tiled roof, Kakashi gazed down at the village streets. His visible eye lingered on a lone figure darting along the walls. Naruto, practicing late-night leaps and landing with the quiet crunch of frost beneath his feet. Kakashi smiled behind his mask, both proud and quietly worried. He's growing stronger, Kakashi murmured. But so are the eyes watching him. A distant, silent shape slipped across the rooftops, a shadow within a shadow, moving with eerie, liquid grace. A single, silver mask glinted in the moonlight before vanishing into the dark. An AMBU operative, or something else entirely. Kakashi's gaze narrowed, and he vanished with a quiet flicker, tailing the ghostly presence through the maze of alleys. A hidden meeting. Deep in the forest beyond the village walls, a circle of figures gathered beneath ancient trees. Their cloaks blended into the darkness, faces shrouded by hoods. At the center, a man with long, pale hair knelt beside a small campfire, studying a strange, twisted fruit that shimmered with flecks of gold and black. Orochimaru's yellow eyes gleamed with hunger. "So the rumors are true," he hissed, fingers caressing the fruit's cold skin. "The devil fruits are awakening once more, and Konoha's little monster has already become a vessel." Kabuto, standing nearby, pushed his glasses higher. "Should we move now?" Orochimaru smiled, slow and cold. "No, not yet. Let him grow. The true test is in watching the prey, learning its weaknesses, its bonds." He turned the fruit over in his hands, gaze lingering on the frost-like pattern etched across its skin. "The world is changing, Kabuto. We must be patient." The fire sputtered, casting long shadows across the ground. In the silence, another cloaked figure stepped forward and lifted a second fruit from a velvet pouch. This one swirling with earthy browns, its surface pitted and hard. Without a word, the stranger bit into it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the air shifted, a subtle shudder running through the ground itself. Kabuto's eyes widened in fascination. Orochimaru's smile only grew. Dreams of ice and fire. Back in his small apartment, Naruto tossed and turned, lost in dreams that were colder than sleep. He stood in an endless field of white, snow falling in soft, soundless sheets. Far ahead, a great fox prowled beneath the aurora-lit sky, its tails trailing mist. A woman's voice echoed across the snow. "Your power is not a prison. But beware, when ice meets fire, destinies melt and reshape." Naruto reached out, but the dream faded. He awoke to dawn creeping through the window and a delicate snowflake melting on his pillow. A new dawn. Team 7 gathered at the gates of Konoha, awaiting their next orders. The air was crisp, tinged with a cold that lingered long after winter's end. Sakura yawned, Sasuke watched the sky, and Naruto spun circles in the frost-laced grass, more energetic than ever. Kakashi arrived with a wave, masking his fatigue behind a lazy smile. "We have new missions ahead," he said, voice light but intent. "The world is watching, and so are we. Stay sharp." As they set out, the unseen eyes of allies and enemies alike followed their every move, the winds of fate shifting over Konoha. Somewhere beyond, Orochimaru's laughter echoed in the darkness, and a new threat, hungry, patient, and powerful, took its first breath. The warm light of early morning washed over the rooftops as Team 7 made their way through Konoha's bustling streets, the memories of the land of waves still sharp in their minds. For Naruto, the world seemed a little brighter and a little colder. As he walked, tiny flecks of frost danced in his footsteps, vanishing before anyone could notice. Naruto stretched, cracking his neck. "Finally, we're back. Ramen time, anyone?" Sakura rolled her eyes, but a small smile touched her lips. "You just ate 2 rice balls, Naruto." Sasuke kept his hands in his pockets, but he didn't walk away. "Do what you want. I'm heading home." Kakashi, trailing behind with his usual lazy gait, offered a rare, encouraging nod. "You've all earned some rest. But don't get too comfortable. The next challenge comes sooner than you think." The villages whisper. As they wandered the village, Naruto noticed people glancing his way. Some parents pulled their children close, whispers trailing in their wake. But others nodded or even smiled, a subtle but powerful change. He passed the flower shop, where Ino waved and grinned. "Hey, Ice Boy, don't freeze the flowers this time." Naruto grinned back, scratching his head. "No promises." Sakura laughed, her earlier tension fading. "You're starting to become famous, you know." Naruto puffed up, proud. "Just wait until I'm Hokage. Everyone will know my name." Reunion at Ichiraku. Naruto ducked into his favorite ramen shop, only to find Iruka already waiting for him at the counter. Iruka smiled, warm and genuine. "Thought you'd want a bowl after coming back." Naruto's eyes shone. Best sensei ever. He devoured the ramen, slurping noodles and chattering about the bridge, the ice, and how his team had fought together. Iruka listened, then leaned in, voice low. "I've heard rumors, Naruto, about that power of yours. Are you afraid?" Naruto paused, the last bite of egg halfway to his mouth. He thought of the frozen clone, the frost on his pillow, Haku's sad eyes. "A little," he admitted. "But I don't want to hide anymore. I want to use it to help people." Iruka nodded, pride shining in his gaze. That's the spirit. Just remember, you don't have to face it alone. Kakashi's suspicion. As dusk settled over the village, Kakashi stood at the top of the Hokage monument, watching the streets below. His thoughts were troubled, tracing the web of rumor and anxiety tightening around Naruto. Behind him, a masked ANBU landed silently. "You're worried, Kakashi?" Kakashi didn't look back. The world is changing. Old powers are awakening. Naruto's at the center, and so are others who would use him. The ANBU hesitated, then said quietly, "Orders are to watch, not intervene." Kakashi's lone eye narrowed. Some things can't be watched forever. When the time comes, we'll have to choose sides. The ANBU melted back into the night. Kakashi remained, wind tousling his silver hair, eyes fixed on the moonlit horizon. Elsewhere, a hidden threat. In a distant, stone-lined chamber, Orochimaru examined a weathered scroll by candlelight. The devil fruits, once thought to be legend, were surfacing again, disrupting the balance of the shinobi world. And now, Konoha's unpredictable outcast had become a beacon for both hope and fear. Kabuto entered, bowing his head. "Preparations are complete, Orochimaru-sama." Orochimaru smiled, thin and cold. "The games begin then. We'll see what secrets the Child of Frost will reveal." The spring air was electric with rumors and anticipation. Word spread quickly through the village. This year's Chunin exams would be held in Konoha, and genin from across the world were already arriving. For Naruto, it felt like the whole world was converging at his doorstep. At the training grounds, Kakashi gathered Team 7. "The silver-haired Jonins, I was unusually serious. Listen carefully. The Chunin exams aren't just a test. They're a stage for every village to show their strength, and for us to spot new threats. There will be risks. Think carefully before you accept." Naruto pumped his fist. "I don't care how hard it is. Bring it on." Sasuke's eyes flashed with a hunger that matched Naruto's, though his voice was quieter. "I need stronger opponents. I need to see how far I've come." Sakura nodded, more determined than ever. "We're ready, Sensei." Kakashi's gaze lingered on Naruto for a long moment. "Remember, teamwork above all. And Naruto, try to keep your unique talents subtle. Not everyone will welcome them." A village of strangers. The village was bustling with newcomers. Sand shinobi, mist genin, and teams from far-off lands crowded the markets and practice fields. Some eyed Naruto curiously. A few stared openly at the faint mist curling around his feet as he walked. Naruto tried to look confident, but inside he felt the old prickling doubt. He spotted Shikamaru and Choji lounging beneath a tree. "Yo, Naruto, gonna freeze your way to Chunin?" Shikamaru teased, eyes half-lidded. "Damn right I am." Naruto shot back, but the words were warm. "You guys better keep up." Near the Hokage's tower, a trio of Suna shinobi passed. The tallest, a boy with a gourd strapped to his back and an eerie calm, paused as he passed Naruto. For a moment, the air seemed to hum with invisible energy. Naruto met his gaze, neither breaking eye contact. Sasuke stepped up, tension thick between the two teams, until Sakura broke it with a laugh. "We'll see you in the exams, right?" The red-haired boy just nodded, voice as dry as desert wind. "If you survive, perhaps." He walked on, leaving a chill in his wake, not of cold, but something older and deeper. The written test. On the morning of the first test, the academy was crowded with hopeful genin. Naruto scanned the room, eyes wide at the sheer number of competitors. He found his seat beside Sakura and Sasuke, ignoring the nervous glances from the other teams. A man with dark glasses and an intimidating smile entered. The proctor, Ibiki Marino. "Welcome to the Chunin exams. This is your first trial. Let's see who has the mind to be a true ninja." Test papers were distributed. As Naruto stared at the questions, his mind went blank. He tapped his pencil, sweat beading on his brow. "These aren't fair," he muttered. But as panic rose, he felt a cold calm settle over him. The frost beneath his desk thickened, and for a moment, Naruto realized he could see the faint outlines of answers, the tiniest imperfections in the paper, left by previous students. He grinned, using subtle glances and his new trick to gather clues. Sakura watched him, eyebrow raised, but said nothing. Ibiki's gaze swept the room, sharp and predatory. "Remember, cheating is grounds for failure, but so is giving up." As the test ended, Naruto put down his pencil, heart thumping with excitement. He'd found his way, a new rival. As the teams gathered to hear the results, a sand genin with a wide, blank smile drifted closer. He introduced himself with a cool, lazy drawl. I'm Sora. You must be the one everyone's whispering about. Naruto blinked. Who, me? Sora's eyes glinted. Yeah, I can sense something unusual. Devil fruits, huh? You're not the only one. Just make sure you're ready. With a wink, Sora slipped away, leaving Naruto unsettled but excited. For the first time, he wondered just how many others were out there. People like him, with powers no ordinary shinobi could understand. The stage was set. The next test would be in the Forest of Death, and the real dangers were just beginning. Ibiki Marino's presence hung over the classroom like a thundercloud. The sharp-tongued interrogator stalked the aisles as Team 7 hunched over their test papers, each scratch of pencil sounding louder than the last. Naruto tapped his foot anxiously. He glanced at the page. Nothing made sense. Numbers blurred. Questions seemed like riddles. This is impossible, he thought, jaw clenching. Sweat beaded on his brow, and the room felt colder with every heartbeat. Sakura, a picture of focus, worked methodically, pencil gliding confidently. Sasuke's eyes flickered with the same intensity he used in battle, scanning the room for subtle movements and hints. Ibiki's voice echoed, low and dangerous. Anyone caught cheating will be disqualified, but a true ninja never gives up, no matter the odds. Naruto squeezed his eyes shut. I can't fail. I promised everyone. A chill ran down his spine. Frost crept along the edge of his desk, almost invisible, a comfort more than a threat. When he opened his eyes, he noticed something. The faintest glimmer on the test paper, the impression of erased answers from a previous exam, revealed by a thin layer of frost. Naruto grinned inwardly. It was like having a secret friend whispering in his ear. He kept his movements subtle, pretending to ponder each question, while the frost sheen helped him catch clues. He didn't have the answers handed to him, but he could piece together enough to make educated guesses. Ibiki's gaze lingered on him, and Naruto fought the urge to shiver. Pressure builds. Around the room, other Chunin teams struggled, some breaking under the pressure. One by one, pairs and trios raised their hands, choosing to quit rather than risk their dreams. Sakura watched Naruto, worry in her eyes, but saw the glint of determination there. Sasuke caught Naruto's eye and nodded almost imperceptibly, a silent signal that he was holding his own. Ibiki stepped to the front, his glare sweeping the class. Final question. But if you fail this, you lose the right to ever become a Chunin. You can leave now, no shame in it. Gasps and murmurs spread through the room. Sakura's hand trembled. Naruto's heart thundered, but he straightened his back, voice ringing out. I'm not quitting. Even if I fail, I'll try again and again. That's my ninja way. His words, raw and stubborn, sparked courage in others. One by one, teams stayed. Ibiki's stern face cracked into a faint smile. That's what I wanted to hear. Test's over. You all pass. Naruto blinked. Wait, that's it. Ibiki nodded. A ninja's true strength is in never giving up. Remember that. After the test, outside, Team 7 regrouped in the hallway, breathless with relief. Sakura scolded Naruto, but her smile was brighter than ever. Sasuke gave a small smirk. Not bad. You found your own way. Naruto grinned, shoving his hands in his pockets. Heh, guess being a little different has its perks. Their camaraderie was interrupted as the classroom doors burst open. A whirlwind of energy in a purple trench coat swept through. Anko Mitarashi, the next proctor. Congratulations, brats, she called, grinning. Get ready for the real fun. Next stop, the Forest of Death. Naruto swallowed hard, excitement and nerves mixing in his chest. He looked at his friends, then at his hands, still tingling with a faint, mysterious chill. He was ready. Whatever the next test brought, he knew one thing for sure. He'd never give up, and he'd never face it alone. A storm of whispers filled the air as Chunin teams gathered before the imposing iron gates of Training Ground 44. The Forest of Death loomed beyond, shrouded in mist and mystery, its entrance a gaping maw eager to swallow the unwary. Anko Mitarashi stood on a battered wooden podium, her smile sharp as a kunai. She tossed a dango stick in her mouth, surveying the crowd with a glint of challenge in her eyes. Welcome, little monsters, she purred. Survive 5 days in the forest, retrieve both heaven and earth scrolls, and reach the tower alive. Anything goes. You die, you're out. Simple, right? A nervous silence hung over the Chunin. Naruto gulped, but his pulse quickened with excitement. He felt the cold in his veins, a secret weapon against the fear in the air. Anko flicked her wrist, and the gates groaned open. Let's see who wants to be a Chunin badly enough. Into the wild. Team 7 received their scroll and ducked into the trees. The forest was thick and humid, the air heavy with buzzing insects and the distant screeches of unseen beasts. Sakura clutched her pouch tighter. We need a plan. There are traps everywhere. Sasuke led, eyes sharp. Move quietly. Trust no one. Naruto followed, trying not to let his nerves show. But as the shadows deepened, he felt the cold inside him surge in warning. The trees seemed to whisper, and the earth was slick with dew that felt just a little too much like frost. A rustle overhead, a kunai whistled down. Naruto ducked instinctively, rolling to his feet. From the underbrush, 3 shinobi with sound village headbands emerged, their leader grinning wide. Hand over your scroll, he sneered. Or we'll take it, and maybe a limb, too. Sasuke moved first, shuriken flashing. The sound ninja countered, their leader's skin hardening, taking on a stony gray sheen. Naruto blinked. That's not chakra. That's something else. The enemy's fist crashed down, splintering a tree. Naruto dodged, cold energy flaring up his arms. He pressed a hand to the ground, ice crawling across the roots, trapping one attacker's foot. Sakura launched a kunai, covering Sasuke as he swept in low, aiming for a weak spot. The sound ninja's rocky skin cracked, but didn't shatter. Naruto narrowed his eyes. He remembered the stories, rumors of new powers, not just chakra, spreading across the shinobi world. Devil fruits. Even here? Ambush and escape. The sound team pressed the attack, their leader's body now armored in jagged stone. Sasuke dodged, landing a kick to the side. Naruto, we need something big. Naruto closed his eyes, drawing on the frost within. He remembered Haku's mirrors, the feel of cold certainty. With a shout, he slammed both hands to the ground. Frost erupted outward, freezing mud and stone alike. The sound ninja gasped as ice crept up his leg, locking him in place. Sakura rushed forward, snatching the enemy scroll and tossing it to Sasuke. Go. Now, they darted into the dense undergrowth, the shouts of the defeated sound team fading behind them. A moment to breathe. Breathless, Team 7 found a small clearing to regroup. Sasuke checked their scrolls, heaven and earth, both in hand. Sakura bandaged Naruto's arm, her hands gentle but firm. You okay? She asked, concern in her eyes. Naruto nodded, grinning through the sting. I'm better than okay. Did you see that? Ice beats rock, believe it. Sasuke cracked a rare smile. You're improving, but stay alert. We're not out of danger yet. The sun dipped lower, shadows lengthening as night crept in. Distantly, the cries of other teams echoed through the forest, reminders that the real test had just begun. Naruto stared at his frost-tipped fingers, resolve hardening in his heart. He would master this power, protect his friends, and carve a new legend, one step at a time. Night settled heavy over the forest of death, cloaking everything in a humid, choking black. Team 7 moved silently between tangled roots and thick undergrowth, nerves stretched thin by hours of hiding, fighting, and running. Naruto wiped sweat from his brow, feeling the bite of cold lingering on his fingertips. Despite his exhaustion, a strange energy hummed beneath his skin, a warning he'd learned to trust. Suddenly, Sasuke froze, raising a fist for silence. Sakura tensed, breath catching in her throat. Somewhere nearby, a branch snapped, a quiet, deliberate sound that set Naruto's teeth on edge. From the shadows, a figure appeared, tall, pale, with eyes like molten gold and a smile that did not reach them. Naruto's instincts screamed. The air seemed to grow colder, the hairs on his neck standing on end. Sasuke stepped forward, kunai raised. Who are you? The stranger's voice was velvet soft, but every syllable dripped with danger. Just a passing observer. I'm curious to see how strong Konoha's new generation has become. Naruto felt something in the air, a crawling, coiling wrongness. You're not just watching, he said, voice tight. The man's smile widened. How perceptive. But you, Naruto Uzumaki, you are the most interesting of all. Before Naruto could react, the stranger flickered forward with impossible speed. Sasuke tried to intercept, but a flick of the man's wrist sent him flying into a tree. Sakura screamed, rushing to Sasuke's side. Naruto lunged, instinct and power surging together. Frost exploded from his palms, hurling shards of ice at the attacker. The stranger moved through them like a ghost, cold mist curling around his ankles. Oh ho! Ice, is it? The man purred, circling Naruto. Not just any ice, though. Something much older, much rarer. You're full of surprises, little Jinchuriki. Naruto's heart thudded. How does he know? With a flick of his fingers, the stranger unleashed a swarm of snakes that burst from the ground. Naruto dodged, conjuring a shield of ice to block their fangs. The snakes shattered on the frost, but the ground trembled where they'd struck. Sasuke struggled to his feet, blood on his lip, rage in his eyes. Get away from us. The man's eyes flashed. You have potential, too. Let's see how far you'll go to protect them. He moved again, faster than sight, appearing behind Sasuke, hand poised like a blade. Before he could strike, a wall of thick, blue ice erupted between them, cold so deep it cracked the air itself. Naruto, teeth gritted, stood with hands outstretched, every ounce of will focused on the barrier. The stranger laughed, delighted. Yes, show me more. The curse mark. With a blur, the man circled behind Sasuke and pressed his fingers to the boy's neck. Dark marks blossomed instantly, snaking across Sasuke's skin. He collapsed with a strangled cry, clutching at the pain. Sakura rushed to him, terror on her face. Sasuke. Naruto lunged, rage and fear blazing, but the stranger sidestepped, catching Naruto's wrist with cold, snake-like fingers. For a brief moment, their eyes met, gold and blue, predator and prey. You'll grow stronger, both of you. The world is changing, and you, Naruto, are its axis. Then he was gone, vanished into the trees as silently as he had come. Aftermath. Naruto staggered, chest heaving. Sakura sobbed as she cradled Sasuke, who trembled with fever and pain, dark markings pulsing on his neck. Naruto sank to his knees, fists curling in the dirt. His power felt drained, the cold inside him numb and hollow. Was this what Kakashi meant by real danger? Was he strong enough to protect anyone? Sakura's voice broke through the doubt, quiet and desperate. Naruto, help me. Please. Naruto looked up, wiped his eyes, and nodded. We'll get him through this. I promise. As the forest shuddered with distant screams and shadows danced in the firelight, Naruto understood that true strength was not just power. It was the will to protect, even when hope seemed lost. The world narrowed to a blur of pain and panic as Naruto and Sakura dragged Sasuke beneath the tangled roots of a fallen tree. The forest pressed in, dense and unyielding, every shadow alive with threat. Sasuke shivered uncontrollably, his breathing ragged. The angry, black markings, the curse, snaked across his skin, pulsing with a sinister glow. Sakura's hands shook as she wiped sweat from Sasuke's brow. Stay with me, Sasuke. Please. Naruto watched, helpless, his heart pounding. The cold in his veins throbbed with every tremor of his friend's pain. For the first time, the frost offered no comfort. It's not enough, Naruto thought bitterly. My power isn't enough to save him. Suddenly, a distant crash echoed through the trees. Naruto tensed. Someone's coming. Sakura's voice was desperate. We can't move Sasuke. We'll have to protect him here. Naruto nodded, resolve hardening. He crouched in front of Sasuke, hands spread wide. The grass beneath him whitened with frost as he focused, summoning every ounce of his strange, cold power. The air grew chill, forming a delicate barrier of ice and snow around their little shelter. Come on. Then he muttered, I won't let anyone hurt my friends. Enemies in the night. The enemy came fast, a trio of sound ninja, eyes glittering in the darkness. Their leader, the stone-skinned boy Naruto had fought before, flexed his arms, eager for revenge. You again, he sneered. We'll take your scroll and crush you this time. Sakura positioned herself between the attackers and Sasuke, kunai clenched in shaking hands. Naruto felt his heart hammer, but this time, he didn't run from the fear. He let it feed the cold inside him, shaping it into sharp, protective will. The stone-skinned ninja charged. Naruto met him head-on, frost blooming with every step. Their blows sent up clouds of icy dust and shattered bark, neither willing to give ground. Sakura flanked the other two, parrying attacks with desperate speed, refusing to fall. When a fist grazed her cheek, she barely flinched, eyes burning with determination. A spark in the dark. As the battle raged, something changed. The curse mark on Sasuke's neck flared, and he groaned in agony. Naruto risked a glance, saw his friend's eyes crack open, red and wild with pain. The world seemed to freeze. Sasuke pushed himself upright, swaying. The markings pulsed, and for a heartbeat, Naruto felt the chill in his own chest answered by something just as dark and powerful. The lead sound ninja lunged at Sakura, snarling. Sasuke moved without thinking, intercepting the blow with inhuman speed. His punches came swift and brutal, the curse mark feeding his strength. The enemy reeled, caught off guard. Naruto, Sasuke barked. Together, Naruto grinned fiercely, relief surging through his fear. The two launched themselves at their foes, fighting in sync. Naruto's ice battered the stone armor. Sasuke's cursed strength shattered it. Sakura held her ground, covering their backs with a precision that surprised even herself. Victory and cost. Panting, battered, but victorious, Team 7 watched the last sound ninja flee into the night. The forest was eerily silent. Sasuke collapsed to his knees, breathing hard, clutching his neck. Sakura rushed to his side, tears slipping down her cheeks. Naruto knelt beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it, Sasuke." "We all did." Sasuke's eyes softened, the red fading from his gaze. "Don't let that snake get to you, Naruto. He wants to break us." Naruto nodded, the cold inside him slowly warming as he looked at his friends. "He won't. We're Team 7. Nothing will break us." Sakura smiled through her tears, voice thick. "Let's get out of this forest." Together, the ice that ringed their shelter melted in the dawn's first light, and for a brief, precious moment, the world felt safe again. The forest of death faded behind them, replaced by sunlight and the steady hum of voices. Team 7 stumbled into the exam tower, bruised, battered, but victorious. The rush of surviving the forest, the taste of their own limits, and the fierce bond forged in battle filled each of them with a quiet pride. Sakura pressed a bandage to Sasuke's neck, careful of the faded curse marks. "How do you feel?" Sasuke grunted, forcing a wry smile. "Like I got trampled by a boar. But I'm all right." Naruto flopped onto the floor, arms outstretched, staring at the ceiling. "We made it. I thought I was going to freeze solid out there." Kakashi, waiting at the entrance, gave them a rare, warm look. "Well done, all of you. You've grown stronger." He knelt beside Sasuke, checking his pulse and eyes. The worry in Kakashi's voice was well hidden, but Naruto caught it. "Watch yourself, Sasuke. That mark isn't normal. We'll talk after the exams." Sasuke nodded, jaw set. The arena, a world of rivals. Soon after, the surviving teams were summoned to a grand underground arena. Dozens of genin lined the walls, faces tense and pale beneath the harsh lights. The next phase, a round of preliminary one-on-one battles. A man in a flak jacket, Hie-Gecko, addressed the crowd with a weary cough. "Some of you are too exhausted for the main tournament. These preliminaries will decide who moves on. You may forfeit at any time. Otherwise, fight with all you have." Naruto glanced around, heart pounding. Some faces were familiar: Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata. Others were not. From the mist, a pale, silent girl with a strange, glassy glare. From the sand, the red-haired Gaara, whose eyes never blinked. And among them, a genin from the hidden rain with a glimmering bubble in his palm, flexing it with a knowing smirk. Sasuke eyed Gaara with suspicion. "He's not normal. That sand, it's alive." Naruto nodded, cold settling in his gut. The competition was unlike anything they'd faced. A new threat emerges. As matches began, Naruto watched in fascination and growing dread. The mist girl used water bubbles to trap and suffocate her opponent, forcing a quick surrender. The rain genin's bubbles popped with explosive force, leaving craters in the stone floor. But most striking was the sand's power. Gaara didn't even move. His sand flowed of its own will, crushing his enemy with effortless, almost casual cruelty. Sasuke tensed, knuckles white. "That's more than a bloodline. It feels different." Kakashi appeared beside Naruto, voice low. "There are rumors, even among the Jonin, about devil fruits surfacing outside Konoha. Be careful, Naruto. You're not the only one." Naruto shivered, not just from the cold, but from the thrill of facing rivals as strange as himself. Team 7's resolve. Sakura's match was called first. She faced Ino, her old friend and rival. The battle was fierce, but even, both girls surprising themselves and each other with new courage. Their match ended in a double knockout, neither able to claim victory, but both walking away stronger. Sasuke's turn came. He fought a sound ninja, using both speed and cunning, but the curse mark pulsed dangerously whenever he pushed too hard. Kakashi watched with hidden concern as Sasuke scraped out a victory, barely holding himself together. Naruto was called last. He squared up against Kiba, Akamaru yipping at his side. The crowd buzzed, half expecting a blowout. Kiba smirked. Ready to lose, Ice Boy? Naruto grinned back, confidence burning in his blue eyes. Not today. The arena was electric with tension as Naruto and Kiba squared off. The other genin lined the stone walls, eager to see what Ice Boy could do against Konoha's wildest Inuzuka. Akamaru, perched on Kiba's shoulder, barked confidently. Kiba smirked, baring sharp canines. I hope you're ready, Naruto. I didn't come here to play with snowballs. Naruto shot back a grin, masking a flutter of nerves. Don't cry when you lose, Kiba, Hie-Hie's tired voice called. Begin. The battle unleashed. Kiba moved instantly, blurring with speed, Akamaru transforming into a near-identical clone as they launched their signature Fong over Fong attack. Naruto rolled aside, the twin whirlwinds barely missing him and gouging deep furrows into the stone floor. Naruto countered with a barrage of shadow clones, but Kiba's nose was too sharp. He tore through illusions with practiced ease, forcing Naruto on the defensive. He's fast, Naruto thought, dodging another spinning assault. But I can use this. As Kiba came in for another strike, Naruto dropped to his knees, pressing his palms to the cold floor. A film of frost spread instantly, slicking the ground beneath Kiba's feet. Kiba skidded, trying to halt, but momentum sent him sliding uncontrollably. Akamaru tumbled behind, paws scrabbling for grip. Naruto seized the moment, weaving between his own clones, drawing Kiba into a trap. Hey, dog breath. Bet you can't catch me. Kiba's eyes flashed. We'll see about that. He regained his footing and unleashed a new jutsu. Smoke bombs filled the air, masking their scent and sight. Naruto coughed, vision clouded, but closed his eyes, reaching for the cold inside. The frost responded to his will, chilling the air and condensing the smoke into crystalline mist, revealing blurred shapes. He struck with a burst of ice, freezing the path just as Kiba lunged from the fog. Kiba slipped, Akamaru colliding with him, sending both crashing to the ground. Turning the tide, Naruto pressed his advantage. He leapt over Kiba, forming an ice clone midair. The clone swept Akamaru aside with a chilly tail, while the real Naruto faced Kiba, determination burning in his eyes. Kiba snarled, shaking off the cold, and lunged again. Naruto ducked, catching Kiba's wrist and channeling a pulse of frost through his grip. Kiba's hand numbed instantly, slowing his next attack. What the? Naruto followed up with a spinning kick, knocking Kiba flat. The arena went silent, the surprise palpable. Hate stepped forward, raising an eyebrow. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Aftermath. The crowd erupted in whispers, some impressed, others wary. Kiba groaned, sitting up. Not bad, Naruto. You're colder than you look. Naruto grinned and offered a hand. You're pretty wild, too. Thanks for the fight. Kiba took his hand, shaking his head. You better win the next one, got it? Naruto nodded, feeling a rush of pride. Sakura cheered from the sidelines, and even Sasuke gave a tiny nod of approval. Kakashi watched from above, his single eye smiling. He's learning to trust his own strength and his friends. As Naruto left the arena floor, the frost melted behind him, a faint mist trailing his steps. A quiet reminder to everyone watching that the world was changing, and so was he. The tension in the air had only grown after Naruto's victory. The other genin eyed him with a mix of wariness and excitement. This Chunin exam was turning out to be anything but ordinary. Hie-Hie's voice rang out again. Next match, Rock Lee versus Taro of the Sound. Lee stepped into the arena, green jumpsuit impeccable, his eyes shining with fiery determination. His opponent, a sound ninja with spiked hair and heavy bracers, grinned confidently. Taro cracked his knuckles, the stone-like skin of his arms glinting faintly. A devil fruit user, as the rumors had hinted. Naruto watched from the sidelines, hands tightening on the railing. Rock Lee, he doesn't have ninjutsu or a bloodline, but he never gives up. Guy-sensei leaned over the balcony, thumbs up and tears glinting in his eyes. Show them the power of youth, Lee. The fight begins. Hate gave the signal. Lee shot forward, faster than most eyes could follow, launching a flurry of kicks at Taro. But Taro's devil fruit power hardened his skin, deflecting Lee's strikes like they were nothing. Lee didn't hesitate. He adjusted midair, flipping over his opponent and driving a kick at Taro's exposed neck. The sound ninja growled, swinging a bracer-covered fist at Lee's side. The blow landed, sending Lee skidding backward, but he didn't falter. Instead, he grinned, eyes burning brighter. Naruto leaned forward, breath held. He's not backing down. Unlocking the gates, Taro slammed his fists together, the ground cracking beneath him. Give up, bushy brows. You can't get through this skin. Lee shook his head. True strength is never giving up, no matter what stands in your way. He slipped off his ankle weights and dropped them with a loud crash, the floor trembling. The audience gasped. Lee blurred, moving at a speed that stunned even the proctors. He struck Taro with a series of blinding kicks, forcing cracks into the stone armor. Taro howled, trying to counter, but Lee was everywhere at once. With a fierce shout, Lee opened the first of his inner gates. His body surged with energy, his next blows shattering Taro's defenses entirely. Lee spun, delivering a final, thundering kick that sent Taro crashing into the wall. The sound ninja slumped, unconscious, stone armor flaking off. Victory and inspiration. The arena exploded with cheers. Guy-sensei leapt onto the balcony rail, sobbing with pride. Naruto watched in awe. So that's what it means to push past your limits. Lee bowed to his fallen opponent, then to the judges. Thank you for the match. Hate declared. Winner, Rock Lee. Lee's gaze met Naruto's for a moment, and he flashed a thumbs up. Naruto grinned back, feeling a new spark of motivation burning in his chest. As the matches continued, the air in the arena felt charged with hope and rivalry. New powers were awakening, old bonds were being tested, and every genin, Naruto included, felt the pressure to carve their own path through the world. The preliminary rounds pressed on, fatigue and anticipation woven through every match. Sakura paced nervously as Hate called the next names. Sakura Haruno versus Ino Yamanaka. The room went quiet. The old friends, now rivals, stepped into the ring, tension heavy between them. Naruto leaned over the railing, whispering encouragement. Go get him, Sakura. Sasuke's eyes narrowed, watching carefully. Let's see how far she's come. On the other side, Ino's teammates gave her a quick thumbs up. She flashed a confident smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. Ready to lose, forehead? Sakura smirked back. Not a chance, Ino pig. The battle of wills. Hate signaled. Instantly, Ino went on the offensive, hurling kunai with sharp precision. Sakura dodged, countering with her own, a dance they'd practiced 100 times, but never with stakes this high. Ino pressed the attack, forcing Sakura to the edge of the arena. Still hiding behind others, Sakura? She taunted, though her voice wavered. Sakura's jaw clenched. Images flashed through her mind. Naruto's courage, Sasuke's pain, her own desperate promise not to fall behind. The frost of doubt threatened, but she pushed it away. I'm not the same girl you used to know, Sakura said, stepping forward with renewed determination. She parried Ino's next kunai, then swept Ino's feet out from under her, forcing her back. Ino smirked, recovering quickly. Neither am I. She formed her signature seal. Mind transfer jutsu. Sakura's eyes widened, but she dug her fingers into her palm, drawing pain to ground herself. The mental world flickered. A surge of Ino's presence threatened to shove her aside. No, Sakura thought fiercely. This is my body, my fight, my future. Rivals and friends. Ino faltered, stunned by the resistance. The battle of wills exploded between them. Memories, old laughter, arguments, and shared dreams colliding. Tears pricked at Sakura's eyes. You were always the one I chased, Ino. But now, I'm running for myself. With a cry, she broke free, pushing Ino out of her mind. The girls collapsed, breathless and exhausted, each refusing to yield. Hate watched them both, then called it. Double knockout. Neither advances. For a heartbeat, disappointment flickered in Sakura's chest. But as Ino crawled over and hugged her, the feeling melted away. Guess we're both stronger than we thought, Ino whispered, smiling through tears. Sakura laughed softly. Guess so. Growing up, as they left the arena, Naruto hooped. That was amazing, Sakura. You're awesome. Sasuke gave her a nod of respect, which meant more to her than any words. Above, Kakashi smiled behind his mask. She's finally found her footing. The real battles are just beginning. Ino and Sakura walked out together, shoulders touching, no longer just rivals, but true friends. The matches went on, but the arena felt a little warmer for the courage and growth Sakura showed that day. The arena's tension sharpened as the next names were drawn. Gaara of the Sand versus Yoroi of the Leaf. A hush swept through the crowd. Yoroi, an older genin, approached warily, clearly unsettled by the boy with the gourd and the cold, unblinking eyes. Gaara stepped forward, utterly silent, a shifting ripple of sand snaking from his gourd and coiling protectively around his ankles. Naruto leaned over the railing, the hair on his arms prickling. Even from a distance, he could feel a strange pressure from Gaara, like a heavy, ancient wind. Sasuke's jaw clenched. There's something wrong with him. Hate gave the signal. A one-sided battle. Yoroi darted in, fast and precise, aiming a punch at Gaara's chest. The sand reacted instantly, intercepting the blow and snapping back with the speed of a striking snake. Yoroi was flung backward, landing hard. Undeterred, he tried again, weaving through hand signs for a chakra-draining jutsu. But the sand met every move, forming a swirling barrier that seemed almost alive. Gaara's eyes didn't flicker, his expression vacant and detached. With a small, absent gesture, Gaara raised his hand. The sand surged, trapping Yoroi's legs and creeping up his body, squeezing tighter and tighter. Naruto's breath hitched. He's gonna. Hie-Hei's voice was sharp. Enough. Winner, Gaara. Gaara's sand released Yoroi just before it could crush him completely. Yoroi collapsed, gasping, eyes wide with terror. A glimpse of the monster. The other Chunin exchanged uneasy glances. Gaara stepped back, not a hint of emotion in his face. For an instant, his gaze met Naruto's, and in that moment, Naruto saw a flash of something ancient. Loneliness, rage, and something else, darker than shadow. Sasuke watched Gaara intently. He's not just strong. He's unstable. Naruto swallowed, cold crawling up his spine. For the first time, he felt a kinship and a warning. He's like me, but something's gone wrong inside him. The whisper of fruits. As the audience murmured, a few older Jonin exchanged worried looks. Kakashi's single eye narrowed. He turned to Asuma, voice low. That sand, there's more to it. I've heard rumors of a devil fruit hidden in the Wind Country, one that turns the desert itself into a living weapon. Asuma nodded. If that's true, the exams just got a lot more dangerous. Resolve in the stance. Naruto clenched his fists, resolve hardening. I'm not afraid of him. If I have to fight him, I'll find a way. I'm not alone. Sakura, watching Naruto's reaction, offered a reassuring smile. We'll face whatever comes, together. As Gaara left the ring, the air in the arena felt colder, as if the sand had stolen all the warmth. The matches went on, but every Chunin now understood. These exams were more than just a test. They were a storm gathering over the shinobi world. The preliminary matches marched on, each battle forging new grudges and respect in equal measure. The roar of the crowd faded to a low buzz as the next competitors stepped forward, but Naruto's mind lingered on the chilling encounter with Gaara's sand. He found himself watching the Tsunade Chunin from the corner of his eye, uneasy at the emptiness he'd glimpsed there. I've never seen someone with eyes like that, he thought. Not even Sasuke at his angriest. Beside him, Sakura looked equally shaken. Do you think the rumors are true, Naruto? About devil fruits in other villages? Naruto shrugged, masking his uncertainty with bravado. Doesn't matter. I'll get stronger no matter what. Sasuke didn't respond, his gaze locked on Gaara. For the first time, Naruto wondered if his friend's obsession with power might be about something more than Itachi. The next bout, Hyuga versus Hyuga. Neji and Hinata, cousins from the Hyuga clan, took center stage for the next match. Their pale eyes, so different from Gaara's, yet just as intense, met across the ring. Hinata stood with trembling hands, but her resolve was clear. I won't give up, Neji. Neji's face was cold, but something like pain flickered in his eyes. You were born to lose. The match began in a blur of gentle fist strikes and swirling chakra. The crowd watched in awe as Hinata endured every blow, refusing to yield. Neji's words cut deep, but each time, Naruto shouted from the balcony, "Don't quit, Hinata. You're strong." Driven by his encouragement, Hinata pushed past her limits, stunning even Neji with her determination. When she finally fell, exhausted, she had won the respect of the whole arena and the silent admiration of Naruto. A warning from above. As medics rushed to Hinata's side, Hate cleared his throat for the next pairing. But before he could continue, a Sand Chunin named Temari approached Naruto during the break, folding her fan with a snap. You should be careful, Naruto Uzumaki, she said, voice low. There are more eyes on you than you know. Some are curious, some hungry. Naruto blinked. Why are you warning me? She shrugged, green eyes flashing. Just don't underestimate the power of the fruits, or those willing to kill for them. Before he could reply, she was gone, lost in the crowd. A flicker of doubt. Naruto sat back, heart racing. He watched as Sasuke's expression darkened, the curse mark barely hidden beneath his collar. Naruto wondered, can I really protect my friends? If everyone's after these powers, am I enough? Kakashi, watching from the shadows, caught Naruto's troubled gaze. He made a mental note. It's time for some answers and new training before the real test begins. The preliminaries raged on, but Naruto's mind was far from the matches. The words of Temari, the chill of Gaara's gaze, and the fierce desperation in Hinata's eyes weighed heavy on his thoughts. He found himself wandering the corridors of the arena during a break, lost in questions only he seemed to carry. If the devil fruits are spreading, will I always be a target? Can I really control this power, or will it control me? A door slid open quietly. Kakashi emerged from the shadows, his visible eye reflecting concern. Couldn't sleep? Kakashi asked, though the answer was clear from Naruto's restlessness. Naruto shook his head. Everyone's changing, Kakashi-sensei. Even Sasuke, and that sand guy, Gaara. What if I can't keep up? Kakashi led Naruto to a quiet balcony overlooking the moonlit village. The wind was crisp, but Naruto found the air colder near him, as if his presence pulled winter from the sky. Everyone feels lost sometimes, Kakashi said. But power isn't about what you have. It's about what you choose to do with it. The strongest shinobi aren't the ones with the rarest gifts. They're the ones who fight for something bigger than themselves. Naruto looked at his hands, remembering the frost and the way it answered his will. Can you help me get stronger? So I can protect everyone. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. That's what training is for. After these exams, we'll work on your control. But you also need to trust your team, Naruto. You're not alone. Not anymore. Resolve forged. As the last matches played out, Naruto returned to the stands, finding Sakura and Sasuke waiting. The three sat in a comfortable silence, watching as Shikamaru used cunning rather than brute strength to secure a surprise victory. Sakura nudged Naruto. Are you okay? Naruto nodded, resolve settling in his chest like newly fallen snow. Yeah, I made a promise to myself. I'm gonna get stronger, no matter what. And I'm not leaving anyone behind. Sasuke glanced at him, a flicker of approval in his eyes before he looked away. Good, because the real fights are still ahead. Above them, the sunlight streaming through the arena seemed just a little brighter, the weight of doubt lifting. In the shadows, new schemes. Far from the arena, Orochimaru listened to the news of the matches with cold amusement. Kabuto reported quietly, the boy's devil fruit is growing stronger with every challenge. Orochimaru's eyes gleamed. Let them all get stronger. The more desperate they become, the easier it will be to take what I need. He ran a pale finger across a forbidden scroll, already planning his next move. The echo of the final preliminary match faded from the stone walls. Genin, exhausted, bloodied, and proud, gathered in the arena's center as Hate raised his clipboard. Eyes were bright with victory, but shadowed by fatigue and anxiety about what came next. Kakashi and the other Jonin lined the balconies, their expressions guarded. The Sandaime Hokage, Sarutobi, stepped forward, his presence commanding instant attention. These battles have shown the true spirit of the next generation, he announced. But only the strongest, the most determined, will advance to the final rounds of the Chunin exams. He gestured for Hate to continue. The names called. Hie-Hei's voice, soft but resolute, echoed in the silent room. Uchiha Sasuke, Hyuga Neji, Sabaka no Gaara, Rock Lee, Temari of the Sand, Nara Shikamaru, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's name lingered in the air. He blinked, stunned, then broke into a huge, relieved grin. Sakura threw her arms around him, nearly knocking him over. You did it, Naruto. You really did it. Sasuke's usual stoic expression softened just a fraction. Don't get cocky, dope. Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome. Why did I even try this hard? Lee gave a gleaming thumbs up. This is the springtime of youth. Let us train to the limits. Above them, Gaara's unblinking stare swept the room, pausing on Naruto with a chilling intensity. Naruto felt the cold crawl up his spine again, but squared his shoulders and held Gaara's gaze. A new threat. As the crowd murmured and scattered, the Hokage explained the rules for the finals. You will each have a month to train and recover. Use this time well. Your next battle may decide your future, and perhaps the fate of your village. Naruto clenched his fists, determination burning through his doubts. 1 month. I'll get stronger, no matter what. Kakashi appeared at Naruto's side, eyes smiling. I'll help you train. and I think I know someone who can help you master that power inside." Naruto grinned, excitement chasing away his fear. Elsewhere, gathering storms. In a dark chamber beyond the city, Orochimaru conferred with Kabuto and a handful of cloaked figures, rogue ninja, some bearing the mark of cursed devil fruits. Maps, scrolls, and plans for the invasion littered the table. "Let the leaf bask in their little victories," Orochimaru hissed, snake-like smile gleaming. "Soon, the true test begins. And in the chaos, we will take what we desire most." Kabuto nodded, adjusting his glasses. "And if Naruto grows too strong?" Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. "Then he will simply become the most precious prize of all." A month to prepare. As Team 7 left the arena, the sun set in molten gold over Konoha's rooftops. Naruto paused on the steps, watching the city glow in the fading light. A cold breeze brushed his cheek, a promise, a warning, a reminder of everything at stake. Sasuke stopped beside him. "Don't lose focus. We're rivals, but we're also a team. If you need me, I'll be there." Naruto smiled, warmth blooming in his chest. "Same goes for you, Sasuke." Sakura squeezed both their hands. "You'll both do great. And no matter what, we'll face what comes next together." The village below buzzed with anticipation, but above, the sky was vast and uncertain. The month ahead would test them all and shape the legend of Naruto Uzumaki, the boy with ice in his veins. The next morning, sunlight spilled over Konoha's rooftops as Naruto awoke with a fresh sense of purpose. The memory of hearing his name among the finalists still sent shivers down his spine, half from excitement, half from the lingering frost in his blood. He wolfed down his breakfast and hurried to the training grounds, where Kakashi awaited beneath a swaying tree, a hint of pride in his lone visible eye. "Ready to work, Naruto?" Kakashi asked, tucking away his book. Naruto pumped his fist. "You bet. I want to be the strongest one out there." Kakashi's tone turned serious. "You've got raw talent, Naruto, but your power is unique. There's only so much I can teach you about it." He paused, then nodded toward a figure emerging from the shadows. Jiraiya, the legendary Sannin, stood with a wide grin, hands on his hips. "Yo, Naruto, heard you've been stirring up trouble with your little ice show. Kakashi tells me you need a real teacher." Naruto's eyes went wide. "You are the Toad Sage?" Jiraiya laughed. "And your new mentor, at least for the month. If you want to understand that strange power and the beast sealed inside, you'll need more than regular ninja training." Master and student. Their days became a blur of sweat, bruises, and laughter. Jiraiya dragged Naruto across the countryside, teaching him chakra control on water, tree walking, and summoning jutsu, alongside the ancient breathing and focusing techniques he claimed came from the farthest reaches of the world. "You're not just a ninja anymore, Naruto," Jiraiya explained one evening as they watched the stars glimmer over a pond iced with Naruto's accidental touch. "You're something new. That fruit's power, it's not chakra, but it dances with it. The key is learning where they meet." Naruto struggled, but slowly, he began to blend his icy gifts with his shinobi arts. Clones made from frost mimicked him perfectly. Rasengan practice ended with spirals of freezing wind. And in rare, quiet moments, Jiraiya told him stories of other devil fruit users, legends whispered in the margins of the world, of powers that could change everything. Team 7, separate paths. While Naruto trained, Sakura honed her skills under Tsunade's watchful eye, learning to heal wounds and sense the flow of chakra. She grew more confident with every day. Sasuke, meanwhile, sought power with a desperate focus, determined not to fall behind. The curse mark on his neck flared with every intense session. He sometimes trained in the dead of night, shadows swirling around him, as if haunted by an invisible rival. Dreams and warnings. Late one night, Naruto dreamed of a snow-covered field. The nine-tailed fox's eyes glowed in the darkness, watching him from behind bars of ice. "Your power is growing," the Kyuubi rumbled. "But beware, when ice clashes with hatred, the world will crack." Naruto woke, heart racing. He stared at his palms, feeling both the warmth of his will and the chill of destiny. A storm approaches. As the month drew on, rumors swirled of stranger and stronger enemies gathering in Konoha's shadow. Spies traded news of devil fruit powers and new alliances forming. On the eve before the finals, Team 7 gathered atop the Hokage monument. The village glittered beneath them, alive with lights and hope. Sasuke spoke first, his voice low but resolute. "Tomorrow, everything changes. I'm going to win. Don't fall behind, Naruto. Naruto grinned. Not a chance. Sakura squeezed their hands, pride and worry shining in her eyes. We'll face it all together. The wind carried a promise of frost and thunder as Konoha prepared for a new legend to be born. The morning sun broke through a restless sky, sending golden beams through the banners that fluttered above the great stadium. Konoha buzzed with excitement. Shinobi and civilians alike gathered for the Chunin exam finals, eager to witness the future of the Hidden Leaf. Naruto stood outside the arena gates, breath frosting in the summer air, his heart pounding with anticipation. He felt the icy current within, swirling alongside a stubborn warmth, pride, fear, and hope, all at war inside his chest. Jiraiya clapped a hand to his shoulder. You ready, kid? Naruto nodded, determined. I've never been more ready in my life. The crowd gathers. The stands overflowed with cheering villagers and dignitaries from far and wide. Sandaime Hokage sat at the highest box, his wise gaze scanning the hopefuls below. In the shadows, the Kazekage watched with a peculiar, predatory interest, his children, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro, waiting among the finalists. Kakashi found his seat among the Jonin, scanning the crowd for danger. Beside him, Guy and Asuma discussed the rumors swirling through the village, strange chakra, foreign powers, the presence of devil fruit users in other villages. Keep an eye on Naruto, Kakashi said softly. He's more important than anyone realizes. Finalists take the field. Hey, Gekko's voice rang out, clear and solemn. Welcome to the final rounds of the Chunin exams. Our first match, Uchiha Sasuke versus Sabaka no Gaara. A collective gasp rippled through the stadium. Sasuke stepped into the ring, dark eyes blazing with a cold, focused fire. Across from him, Gaara stood unmoving, his sand swirling in anticipation. Naruto leaned over the railing, fists clenched. Come on, Sasuke. Show them what you've got. Sakura watched nervously, heart pounding as she gripped the railing beside Naruto. Sasuke versus Gaara, lightning and sand. The match began with a flash of speed. Sasuke darted in, launching a hail of shuriken. Gaara's sand rose up, shielding him effortlessly. Sasuke moved in a blur, vanishing and reappearing with the crackle of lightning dancing in his palm. Chidori. He charged, the jutsu splitting the ground as he slammed it into Gaara's sand shield. For the first time, Gaara flinched, blood trickling down his arm as his armor cracked. Gasps swept the crowd. Gaara's face twisted in rage and confusion. The sand shuddered, writhing more wildly than before. Up in the stands, Temari whispered, Hey. He wounded Gaara. Naruto's eyes widened. He's amazing. But as Sasuke moved in to press his advantage, Gaara's sand exploded outward, morphing into monstrous, clawed limbs. Gaara's voice, broken and desperate, echoed over the arena. You made me bleed. You'll pay. The match erupts. The sand beast lashed out, forcing Sasuke to dodge desperately. Kakashi tensed, ready to intervene, but Hie-Hie's hand shot up. No outside help unless a life was truly in danger. Sasuke grit his teeth, curse mark burning as he channeled more lightning into his hand. The clash of power and will sent shockwaves through the arena. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A ripple of unnatural cold swept over the crowd as Gaara's sand seemed to reach for something deeper, a sinister, devil fruit-infused rage. Naruto felt it too, the cold in his chest flaring. For the first time, his own power trembled in response to another's. Interruption. Just as the battle reached its breaking point, an explosion rocked the stadium's edge. Smoke and chaos erupted as disguised ninja attacked, launching the long-feared invasion of Konoha. Jonin leapt to defend the villagers. Hate called out to the finalists, Stay together. Protect yourselves. Naruto's pulse thundered. Sakura grabbed his arm. Naruto, what do we do? He clenched his fists, resolve burning. We fight. We protect Konoha. We don't give up. The Chunin exam finals had become a battlefield, and the legend of Naruto Uzumaki, the boy of ice and will, was just beginning its most dangerous chapter. Smoke billowed across the stadium, drowning out cheers and replacing them with screams. Kunai whistled through the air. Shinobi from the sound and sand villages dropped their disguises, attacking with jutsu and forbidden weapons. The stands erupted into chaos as civilians rushed for the exits, only to find sand walls and summoned beasts blocking every escape. Naruto stood frozen for a heartbeat, the weight of panic and responsibility pressing down on his chest. The cold in his blood pulsed, warning him of danger from every direction. Jiraiya's voice cut through the noise, calm but urgent. Naruto, Sakura, find your teammates and regroup. Protect each other first. I'll help the Hokage. Sakura's face was pale but determined. We have to find Sasuke. Sand and sound collide. On the arena floor, Sasuke fought to catch his breath. Gaara, bleeding and wild-eyed, retreated as Kankuro and Temari closed ranks around him. The sand twisted protectively, separating them from the chaos. From the far side of the arena, Jonin and Chunin clashed with invading shinobi. Kakashi appeared in a flash, fending off a pair of sound attackers with lightning-quick precision. Guy and Asumo weren't far behind, their presence steadying the panicked villagers. Sakura tugged Naruto's sleeve. We need to move now. They dashed down the ruined steps, dodging fallen stone and desperate genin. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino joined them, their faces grim. We stick together, Shikamaru said, scanning the melee. Anyone seen Sasuke? The monster awakens. A sudden shriek split the chaos. Sand swelled and writhed, Gaara's devil fruit power raging out of control. The sand coiled and twisted, forming the monstrous visage of Shikaku, the one-tailed beast. Gaara's eyes glowed with madness as the sand reached skyward, striking at shinobi and civilian alike. Naruto felt the ice inside him react, a deep, instinctive warning. Sasuke's over there. Sakura pointed to where Sasuke faced Gaara's emerging beast, the Chidori glowing in his hand. Naruto's heart leapt into his throat. We have to help him. Battlefield decisions. Kakashi landed beside the group, blood spattering his vest. Team 7, with me. We'll split up. Sakura, protect the villagers. Naruto, you're with me. We go after Sasuke and Gaara. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino nodded, ready to hold back any enemy who came near. Sakura squeezed Naruto's arm before racing to lead a group of frightened children away from the carnage. Naruto and Kakashi sprinted across the shattered field. Debris and chakra blasts filled the air. Every step was a test of will. As they neared the center of destruction, Naruto's eyes found Sasuke, battered, bleeding, but standing firm as Gaara's sand loomed above him. Naruto, Sasuke shouted. Stay back. This isn't normal. Naruto shook his head, icy determination settling in. We're a team, Sasuke. I'm not leaving you behind. A new resolve. Kakashi covered their approach, his Sharingan burning as he countered enemy attacks. Naruto drew on his power, frost forming around his fists. As Gaara's sand monster roared, Naruto locked eyes with his rival-turned-friend. Let's finish this together. The fate of Konoha and the future of all devil fruit users hung in the balance as Team 7 prepared for their greatest challenge yet. The monstrous form of Shikaku towered over the ruined arena, sand swirling in a cyclone of fury. Gaara, barely conscious and blood streaming from his forehead, clung to the monster's forehead, his eyes blazing with pain and madness. Naruto and Sasuke stood side by side in the cratered field, debris and the scent of ozone filling the air. Around them, chaos reigned. Shinobi clashed with invaders, civilians fled, and the wind howled as the sand beast roared its challenge. Sasuke's chakra flickered dangerously, the curse mark pulsing along his neck. Naruto, that thing isn't just Gaara anymore. It's the One Tail. A bijou. Naruto swallowed, feeling the cold inside him surge. The air crackled with a tension that was almost physical, ice answering sand. Two powers not of this world colliding beneath the storm-torn sky. Kakashi, holding back a wave of sound shinobi, called out, "This is your fight. Trust yourselves, trust each other, don't let fear win." The clash begins. Shikaku's arm lashed out. Sasuke barely dodged, his Chidori slicing a deep wound in the sand. But the beast only reformed, laughing with Gaara's broken voice. Naruto focused, reaching deep for that ancient frost. I won't let you hurt anyone else, Gaara. This ends now. He pressed his hands to the ground. Frost raced across the earth, freezing sand in jagged, crystalline sheets. For a moment, the monster slowed, trapped by the unfamiliar cold. Sasuke seized the opening, his Chidori blazing, and struck at Gaara's body, forcing the boy to scream and the beast to falter. Gaara's sand bucked, rage surging. Shikaku's mouth gaped open, launching a blast of sand bullets toward Naruto. Naruto responded instinctively, raising an ice shield, the cold so deep it shimmered blue in the sun. The sand battered uselessly against it, steam rising as the two powers collided, filling the air with a chilling fog. Gaara's pain. Naruto saw it then. Through the mist, the trembling in Gaara's hands, the haunted look in his eyes, the agony that ran deeper than wounds. "You're not a monster," Naruto shouted, his voice cracking. "You're just like me, alone, scared, trying to protect yourself." For a heartbeat, Gaara hesitated. The sand beast stuttered, its form wavering as Gaara's will and pain collided. Sasuke, breathing hard, landed beside Naruto. "He's losing control. Now's our chance." Naruto nodded, hope and fear warring in his chest. The final strike. Together, Naruto and Sasuke charged. Sasuke unleashed one last Chidori, piercing the sand and shattering the barrier around Gaara. Naruto followed, channeling his devil fruit's cold to form an icy spiral. Hie-Hie Rasengan, and slammed it into Shikaku's chest. The impact froze the beast's core, halting its rampage. With a shudder, the sand crashed to the ground, dissolving into harmless grains as Gaara fell, unconscious, into Naruto's arms. The battlefield went silent. The monster was gone. Aftermath. Kakashi arrived, breathless but alive. Sakura soon followed, covered in dust but safe, tears of relief streaming down her face. Naruto held Gaara gently, frost melting from his hands. "You're not alone anymore," he whispered, voice barely more than a promise. Sasuke collapsed to his knees, exhaustion finally winning out. Kakashi gathered them close, pride and worry mixing in his eyes. "You did it. You saved everyone." Above, the clouds parted, sunlight breaking through as if in blessing. The invasion raged on elsewhere, but here, in the heart of the arena, a new legend was born. The day ice and sand clashed, and bonds proved stronger than monsters. The sun's rays lit the broken arena, casting long shadows over the scattered bodies of friend and foe alike. Medics rushed in to tend the wounded. The victorious cheers of a moment before faded to a tense, uncertain quiet. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura huddled together as Gaara was carried away by his siblings, Temari's face pale, Kankuro's grim. For the first time, Naruto saw not enemies, but other children battered by the world's cruelty. He watched the sand siblings disappear into the smoke, his own chest tight with a mix of pride and sorrow. Kakashi put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "You did more than defeat a monster. You reached someone no one else could." Naruto managed a tired grin, but his relief was short-lived. The true attack unfolds. A scream tore through the stadium. Above, the barrier surrounding the Hokage's platform shimmered with deadly chakra, a cage of purple flame. Inside, the Sandaime Hokage faced Orochimaru, his former student, in a deadly duel. Jiraiya landed beside Team 7, battered but alive. "Stay together, kids. The real threat isn't over yet." All around the village, sand and sound ninja clashed with Konoha's defenders. Strange powers flared, more signs of devil fruits in the hands of enemy shinobi. A mist ninja breathed vapor that petrified stone. A sound Jonin's skin became slick as oil, attacks sliding harmlessly away. Naruto watched, fists clenched. "We can't just stand here. People are getting hurt." Kakashi nodded. "Go. Help where you can. Protect the villagers. I'll stay with Jiraiya and keep the main threats away from you." A village united. Sakura raced to the medical tents, joining Shizune and the hospital staff, her newfound skills already saving lives. Sasuke, battered but stubborn, limped into the streets, forcing his body to move as he drove back enemy ninja from the evacuation routes. Naruto threw himself into the chaos, ice bursting from his palms as he shielded families from burning debris and enemy jutsu. Each time his frost met a devil fruit power, the collision sent up clouds of mist and steam, a new element in the war. Through it all, the villagers watched in awe as the once ignored outcasts stood on the front lines, their trust and gratitude blooming with every act of courage. The Sandaime's sacrifice. High above, the Hokage's battle raged. Orochimaru taunted, snakes writhing from his sleeves, his ambition monstrous. But Sarutobi fought with the strength and heart of a true leader, summoning the Reaper Death Seal to stop his former student at the cost of his own life. As the barrier fell and Orochimaru fled, mortally wounded, the villagers below felt the loss like a physical blow. Word spread quickly. The third Hokage was gone. Naruto, bloodied and exhausted, watched the flames die down on the horizon. Sakura found him in the ruins, silent tears on her cheeks. "He gave everything for us," she whispered. Naruto nodded, a fierce resolve building inside him. "Then we have to live up to it. We have to protect Konoha. Together." Sasuke joined them, face pale but eyes burning. "This isn't the end. It's just the beginning." The Leaf Village mourned its leader, but in the hearts of its youngest heroes, a new will of fire was born, one that would carry them through whatever darkness lay ahead. Smoke still curled above the village, mingling with the first golden rays of morning. The invasion was over, but the wounds it left, on streets, on bodies, on hearts, would take far longer to heal. The village gathered in the main square, united by loss and gratitude. Jonin, Jinin, and civilians alike wore black bands around their arms in honor of the fallen Tsunade. In front of the Hokage monument, an altar bloomed with flowers, candles, and the Hokage's hat, waiting for a successor. Naruto stood near the front, flanked by Sakura and Sasuke, both of whom bore scratches and bandages. He felt strangely hollow, his usual energy buried under the weight of everything they'd seen. In his hand, a single snowflake lingered, unmelted, a token of his promise to protect. Iruka stepped forward, voice trembling but clear. "We lost a great man, but the will of fire still burns. It lives in each of us. Today, we remember, but tomorrow, we rebuild." The grieving village. After the ceremony, villagers moved quietly through the battered streets, helping one another clear rubble and tend to the wounded. Sakura knelt by the hospital beds, healing where she could, her hands steadier than ever before. Sasuke moved through the village, pushing himself beyond his pain. Each time he saw an act of kindness or a rescued child, something in his hard expression softened. Naruto wandered through the ruins, using his ice to reinforce collapsed walls and keep food cool for the hungry. Some villagers paused to thank him, truly thank him, for the first time. Each word of gratitude chipped away at years of loneliness. One elderly woman pressed a rice ball into his hands. "You're a good boy, Naruto." "Thank you." Naruto blushed, nearly crying on the spot. He gripped the rice ball like a lifeline, a small piece of proof that things were changing. A promise renewed. That evening, Team 7 gathered on the roof of the hospital, watching the stars emerge one by one. The quiet stretched long, but it was comfortable, a bond forged through pain and triumph. Sakura broke the silence, her voice small but certain. "We're still together. That's what matters." Sasuke nodded, eyes thoughtful. "We keep moving forward. For everyone who can't." Naruto looked out over the rooftops, the frost in his veins calm and steady. "I promise, I'll protect this village. I'll get stronger, for all of us. That's my will of fire." Above them, the Hokage monument watched in silence as three young ninja looked toward tomorrow, and a new legacy began to take shape. Days passed, and the rhythm of life in Konoha gradually returned, though the scars of invasion remained etched in stone and memory. Team 7 found themselves busier than ever, helping rebuild homes, assisting the wounded, and supporting each other in the quiet moments between. Naruto woke early each morning, eager to help however he could. The villagers had begun to greet him with respect, some even seeking out his help when a stubborn freezer or icebox was needed. For the first time, Naruto felt the gap between himself and the rest of the village closing, replaced by something warm: trust. New leadership, new uncertainty. At the Hokage's office, tension simmered as the council debated the future. Tsunade's name was whispered through the halls, her legendary strength and healing power painting her as the village's best hope. Jiraiya appeared at the hospital, finding Naruto and Sakura seated beside Kakashi's bed. The copy ninja had taken a nasty wound protecting a group of civilians during the chaos, but he smiled beneath his mask, his voice as dry as ever. "You kids did well. Looks like the village might be in good hands after all." Jiraiya clapped Naruto on the back. "I'm leaving soon, Naruto. Tsunade's the only one who can lead us now. What do you say? Want to come on a trip to find her?" Naruto's eyes sparkled with new purpose. "Of course. I can't wait to get even stronger." Sasuke watched from the window, silent and troubled. The curse mark had faded, but its memory gnawed at him. Power. I need more power before it's too late. A cold warning. That night, as Naruto walked home beneath a sky full of stars, a thin mist rose from the ground, swirling around his ankles. He stopped, sensing he wasn't alone. A voice, soft as snow, whispered from the darkness. You're changing the world, Naruto Uzumaki. But change has a price. There are others who will not let you walk this path unchallenged. Naruto spun, heart pounding. But the street was empty, save for a single blue feather of frost left on the stone. He picked it up, shivering, not from cold, but from something deeper, anticipation and the knowledge that his journey had only just begun. Team 7, looking ahead. The next day, Team 7 gathered one last time before Jiraiya's departure. Sakura squeezed Naruto's hand, worry and hope mingling in her eyes. Promise you'll come back safe. Naruto grinned. Count on it. Sasuke looked away, jaw tight, but his words were sincere. Don't slow down, Naruto, or I'll leave you behind. Naruto winked. We'll see about that. The future beckoned, uncertain, dangerous, but full of possibility. With new strength, new bonds, and the will of fire burning bright, Naruto and his friends set their sights on the next horizon. Konoha bustled with cautious optimism as Jiraiya prepared for departure, his presence in the village both a comfort and a reminder of the challenges still ahead. Naruto barely slept the night before, heart pounding with the promise of travel, training, and the hope of meeting another legendary Sannin. Early morning found him at the gates, backpack slung over his shoulder, the air already thick with the humidity of summer. Jiraiya arrived soon after, carrying a scroll and a knowing grin. Ready for the road, Naruto? The Toad Sage asked, stretching. Finding Tsunade won't be easy, but you're tougher than you look. And besides, there's more to this journey than chasing a runaway Hokage. Naruto grinned, bouncing on his toes. Let's go? I want to get even stronger, strong enough to protect everyone. A trail of rumors. They set out along the main road, weaving through bustling towns and sleepy hamlets. Everywhere they went, rumors swirled, not just about Tsunade, but about mysterious events. Lakes suddenly frozen overnight, crops saved by unexpected snow in a drought, or strange visitors who could turn earth to stone with a single touch. Jiraiya listened closely, jotting notes in a battered book. Devil fruit powers, Naruto. Your fight with Gaara wasn't the only one. Other villages are scared. Some want to control these fruits, others to destroy them. Naruto listened, unease mixing with curiosity. Am I really that different, Ero Sennin? Jiraiya looked at him seriously for a moment. You're different, but you're not alone. Remember that. Every power can be a blessing or a curse. It's what you do with it that matters. Trouble in Tanzaka Town. Their journey took them to Tanzaka Town, where Tsunade was rumored to be gambling away her troubles. The town buzzed with excitement and tension. Banners for a festival fluttered above the crowds, but soldiers lined the streets, on edge from rumors of bandits and demon users. As they asked around, Naruto caught sight of a cloaked figure at the edge of the market, ice blue hair visible for just a heartbeat. The figure vanished into the crowd, leaving behind a tiny snowflake that didn't melt on Naruto's palm. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. Looks like you're not the only one being watched. A fateful encounter. They finally found Tsunade at a gambling parlor, dice in hand and sake on the table. She eyed them warily, clearly unimpressed. Jiraiya, and the brat everyone's talking about. Naruto puffed up. I'm not a brat, and I'm not leaving until you come back to Konoha. Tsunade snorted. You can't even beat me in a bet, let alone convince me to be Hokage. Jiraiya leaned in. We need you, Tsunade. The village is hurting. If you're not there, Orochimaru will keep coming for what he wants, including Naruto and his power. At the mention of Orochimaru, Tsunade's hand trembled, just a little. Her gaze flicked to Naruto, then away. Naruto stepped forward, voice steady. People keep saying my power is dangerous, but I'll prove them wrong. I'll become Hokage, and I'll protect everyone. For a moment, Tsunade just stared. Then, for the first time, she smiled. A true, sad, hopeful smile. Danger lurks. Unseen, a pair of masked shinobi watched from the rooftops. One turned to the other, a wicked grin on his face. Orochimaru won't like that the boy's here, but it might be just what we need. A chill wind swept the streets as Naruto, Jiraiya, and Tsunade's fates began to intertwine, setting the stage for a battle that would test everything Naruto had learned and reveal even deeper mysteries of the devil fruits. Tanzaka Town was alive with noise and color, but a shadow lay beneath its festival lights. As Naruto, Jiraiya, and Tsunade moved through the bustling streets, an uneasy tension lingered, too many eyes watching, too many secrets waiting to be revealed. Naruto trailed after the two legendary Sannin, still bristling from Tsunade's dismissive attitude. "Just watch, Granny. I'll prove I'm not some weak brat." Tsunade only smirked. "Talk is cheap, kid. Come back when you've actually done something." Jiraiya, ever the peacekeeper, changed the subject. "Tsunade, we didn't come just to argue. Orochimaru's moving again. He's gathering people with strange powers, the kind only devil fruits can give." Tsunade's face darkened at the name. "Orochimaru. I should have finished him years ago." Orochimaru strikes. Suddenly, the sound of screaming split the air. Market stalls upended as masked shinobi tore through the streets, scattering festival goers. At their center was a figure in flowing robes, Orochimaru himself, his eyes fixed on Tsunade. "Ah, the lost princess of Konoha," he purred. "And the child of ice. How fortunate you're both here." Tsunade's fists clenched. "What do you want?" Orochimaru's gaze flicked to Naruto, hunger and cruelty in his smile. "The same thing as always, power. The boys, yours, anyone's. But first, let's see what you've learned, Naruto Uzumaki." He signaled, and two shinobi emerged, each displaying their own unnatural abilities. One's skin rippled with a stony armor, while the other's breath turned the air to chilling vapor. Both unmistakable devil fruit users. A battle of legends. Jiraiya pushed Naruto behind him, but Naruto shook his head. "No, I can fight." Tsunade hesitated, just a heartbeat, but saw the resolve in Naruto's eyes. "Stay close, kid." Orochimaru's henchmen attacked. Jiraiya and Tsunade split to intercept, while Naruto faced the stone-skinned shinobi. The enemy's blows shook the earth, but Naruto answered with bursts of frost, freezing the ground and sending his opponent skidding. Jiraiya battled the vapor user, matching water for mist, while Tsunade confronted Orochimaru directly, their blows shaking the air. Lightning and sand, ice and poison, all met in a furious clash that sent villagers fleeing and the sky darkening with energy. Naruto's stand. Naruto ducked a crushing blow, rolling to his feet. He remembered Jiraiya's words, "Don't fight the power. Channel it." As his enemy charged again, Naruto unleashed a flurry of ice clones, surrounding the stone shinobi in a maze of frost. "Your strength is nothing without heart," Naruto shouted, slamming a freezing punch into his foe's armor. Cracks spiderwebbed through the stone, and the shinobi toppled. Jiraiya finished his own opponent with a blast of toad oil and fire, the resulting steam swirling around Naruto like a protective curtain. Tsunade and Orochimaru's battle raged, but as Tsunade hesitated, haunted by memories of her lost loved ones, Orochimaru struck, driving her back. Naruto saw her falter. With a shout, he dashed between them, frost coating his fists. "You're not alone, Tsunade. We're with you." For an instant, something in Tsunade's eyes cleared. She caught Orochimaru's next attack and, roaring her grief and hope, sent him flying through a stone wall. Victory and aftermath. Orochimaru retreated, his followers fleeing. Tanzaku town lay battered, but the villagers' cheers rang out as Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Naruto stood together, an unlikely trio united by battle. Tsunade looked down at Naruto, something like pride in her eyes. "You're stubborn, kid. Maybe that's what we need." Jiraiya grinned. "Told you he was special." As the dust settled, Tsunade finally nodded. "Let's go home. Konoha needs us." Naruto beamed, his heart light. A new era was about to begin, not just for the village, but for himself. Konoha's wounds, though raw, began to heal as news spread that Tsunade, the legendary Sannin, was returning at the side of Jiraiya and Naruto. The gates opened wide for the trio, and villagers gathered to watch, hope flickering in their eyes for the first time since the invasion. Naruto bounced with excitement as he entered, waving to familiar faces. "Hey, we're back. And guess what? We've got a new Hokage." Sakura was waiting with Shizune at the hospital entrance. Her eyes sparkled with relief and pride as she saw Naruto approach, Tsunade striding confidently beside him. "You did it, Naruto. Welcome home." Tsunade paused, gazing at the wounded in the streets and the determination in the villagers' faces. She straightened her back, a new resolve blooming in her heart. "Let's get to work. There's much to do." Healing and reunion. The days that followed were filled with purpose. Tsunade moved quickly, restoring the hospital, visiting injured shinobi, and earning the trust of a wary council. She healed Kakashi, who woke to see the Sannin's stern smile and Naruto's overjoyed grin. You really pulled it off, Naruto, Kakashi said, voice weak but proud. Sakura threw herself into training under Tsunade's guidance, eager to master the art of medical ninjutsu, and to prove she could be as strong as any teammate. Sasuke, too, found himself at a crossroads. He watched the village heal, but a storm brewed behind his eyes. The memory of his own weakness during the attack, and the burning ache of the curse mark Orochimaru had left behind. A village restored. With Tsunade's leadership, Konoha's morale soared. She addressed the village from the Hokage tower, her voice ringing out with both strength and warmth. We have lost much, but we are not broken. We will rise again, stronger than before. I promise as your 5th Hokage. The cheers that followed seemed to shake the dust from every rooftop. Naruto watched from the crowd, pride swelling in his chest. For the first time, he saw the villagers looking not just at Tsunade, but at him, with respect, even admiration. The frost within him felt less like a curse and more like a legacy. He was finally shaping himself. After the storm, that night, Team 7 gathered on the Hokage monument. They gazed down at the twinkling lights of their village, together yet changed by all they'd endured. Sakura broke the comfortable silence. We've come a long way, haven't we? Sasuke's voice was low, but honest. We survived, but I can't stop here. Naruto, hands behind his head, grinned at the stars. We're just getting started. As long as we're together, we can take on anything, even devil fruits, even monsters. Sakura smiled, hope shining in her eyes. Let's promise, no matter what happens next, we won't give up on each other. They nodded, a silent pact echoing between them. As the wind swept over the monument, it carried with it the promise of new beginnings and the strength of bonds that would be tested, but never broken. The days after Tsunade's return brought a hopeful calm to Konoha. Streets buzzed with rebuilding, laughter returned to the market, and Team 7 found themselves at the center of a village renewed. But beneath the warmth of new beginnings, old shadows waited. Sasuke's restlessness grew. Each night, he pushed himself harder at the training grounds, fists aching and shirt damp with sweat. The curse mark still burned at his neck, a silent promise of both strength and ruin. Naruto often found Sasuke training alone. Sometimes he watched from the tree-line, unsure whether to join or give space. The bond between them was as real as the rivalry, a silent, stubborn challenge. One night, as Sasuke hammered a tree with kicks, Naruto finally approached. You'll break your legs at this rate, Naruto said, forcing a light tone. Sasuke didn't look back. I need to be stronger. I couldn't even finish Gaara on my own. If I can't catch up, I'll lose everything. Naruto fell quiet, the chill in his veins answering the ache in his friend's voice. We'll get stronger together. That's a promise. Sasuke stared at the moon, uncertainty and longing flickering across his face. You can't help with this, Naruto. No one can. An unseen threat. Elsewhere, Tsunade met privately with Jiraiya and Kakashi in the dim light of the Hokage's office. Reports of devil fruit users appearing in smaller villages had increased, some revered as saviors, others hunted as monsters. These powers are changing the world's balance, Tsunade said, rubbing her temples. If Orochimaru moves again, or if the Akatsuki take interest, Jiraiya nodded. Naruto isn't the only one at risk. We need eyes everywhere. And we can't ignore what's happening to Sasuke, either. Kakashi's lone eye narrowed. I'll keep watch. But whatever comes, they're still just kids. They deserve a chance at happiness. The temptation of power. As dusk fell, a strange presence watched from the rooftops. A shinobi draped in dark robes, eyes gleaming with purpose. From his palm, a stone-like skin shimmered in the moonlight, a clear sign of a devil fruit's touch. He whispered to the night, so many children of prophecy gathered in one place. How easy it will be to pluck them when the moment is right. Unbeknownst to the village, word had spread beyond the borders, of the boy with ice, of the Uchiha haunted by vengeance, of the monsters hiding in plain sight. Bonds and uncertainties. Team 7 met at the ramen shop, the simple joy of food easing the weight on their hearts. Sakura laughed at Naruto's endless appetite, while Sasuke's rare smile flickered for a moment. But even as they shared this fragile peace, each felt the pull of something looming, ambition, destiny, or fate. Naruto looked at his friends and swore silently. Whatever darkness crept toward Konoha, he would meet it head-on, with the power he'd earned and the friends he refused to leave behind. The air in Konoha felt thicker with each passing day, heavy with rumors, and the sense that the quiet after the storm was only a lull. Sasuke moved through the village like a ghost, his eyes shadowed by sleepless nights and the silent ache of the curse mark. Team 7's training sessions had grown strained. Sasuke spoke less and less, pouring his frustration into every sparring match. Sakura worried silently, noticing the cold edge in his voice. Even Naruto, as dense as he could be, felt the growing distance. One afternoon, as the sun slanted gold through the leaves, Sasuke lingered alone at the training grounds. Naruto approached, a ramen coupon clutched in his hand. "Hey Sasuke, you can't get stronger on an empty stomach. Let's go eat my treat." Sasuke glanced at the coupon, then looked away. "Don't waste your time, Naruto. You don't know what it's like." Naruto's stubborn grin faded. "Then tell me." Sasuke hesitated, then shook his head. "You can't help with this. No one can." A whisper in the dark. That night, as the village slept, four figures slipped through the shadows. Sound ninja, their movements silent and their eyes predatory. The leader, a pale youth named Kimimaro, found Sasuke alone on a rooftop, gazing at the distant Hokage monument. Kimimaro's voice was calm and cold. "You seek power. Orochimaru can give it to you. You're wasting your talent here, chained by weak bonds." Sasuke tensed. "What do you know about me?" "We know the curse you carry. We know the pain of loss and the promise of vengeance. With Orochimaru, you can break every limit. All you must do is choose." For a long moment, Sasuke stood at the edge, the village lights twinkling below him, memories and dreams at war in his heart. The choice. The next morning, Sakura waited for Sasuke at their usual meeting spot, heart fluttering with hope and worry. But when he arrived, his eyes were colder than she'd ever seen. "Sasuke?" she whispered. He met her gaze, pain flickering behind his resolve. "I have to leave. Don't try to stop me." Sakura's eyes filled with tears. "Please don't go. You're not alone. Naruto, Kakashi, me, we're your family." Sasuke hesitated, his voice cracking. "I can't stay. Not if I want to get stronger." "I'm sorry, Sakura." He turned, vanishing into the morning mist. Sakura fell to her knees, silent tears staining the earth. Naruto's resolve. When Naruto heard the news, a storm of disbelief and anger crashed through him. He sprinted to the village gates, ice crackling beneath his feet. "I won't let you leave, Sasuke. Not now, not ever." Jiraiya found him there, breathless and wild-eyed. "Naruto, sometimes people make choices you can't understand, but you can still bring him back. That's the strength of your heart." Naruto clenched his fists. "Then I'll chase him as many times as it takes." Team 7's world had changed. Bonds were tested, and the sound of betrayal rang through Konoha, a promise that the days of peace were over. Konoha awoke to uneasy news. Sasuke Uchiha was gone, vanished into the night with no trace but a faint trail through the morning dew. The elders convened, alarm spreading through the village. For Naruto and Sakura, the world had narrowed to a single, desperate purpose: bring Sasuke home. Shikamaru was summoned to the Hokage's office, where Tsunade's expression was grim. "You're the only Chunin among them. Assemble a retrieval squad. Bring Sasuke back at all costs." Shikamaru accepted with a sigh, knowing there was no other way. Soon, Naruto, Kiba, Choji, and Neji stood at the gates, each chosen for their unique strengths. Sakura arrived too, red-eyed but resolute. "Naruto, promise me," she whispered, clutching his sleeve. "Promise you'll bring Sasuke back." Naruto's gaze was fierce, his breath misting in the morning light. "I swear it, Sakura. I'll save him." The trail begins. They race through the forests beyond Konoha, following broken branches and subtle tracks. Kiba's nose twitched, Akamaru barking a soft confirmation. They're not far ahead, but they know we're coming. As the squad moved deeper into enemy territory, the landscape grew colder. Naruto's footsteps left frost on the leaves, an unconscious echo of his racing heart. Neji kept pace beside Naruto. "If you lose control, this mission is lost. Focus, Uzumaki." Naruto nodded, determination burning. "I can't lose him. I can't lose any of them." Sounds deadly ambush. Suddenly, an explosion split the silence. Traps, shuriken, and sound ninjas sprang from the shadows. The retrieval squad scattered, forced into one-on-one battles. Choji squared off against Jirobo, pushing his strength to new heights. Neji faced Kidamaru, spider webs gleaming in the dappled light. Kiba and Akamaru tangled with Sakan and Yukon, the enemy's twisted bodies blurring as they attacked in tandem. Shikamaru confronted Tayuya, her flute weaving illusions and monsters out of thin air. Naruto was left to face Kimimaro, the most dangerous of Orochimaru's minions, whose bone sword shimmered with unnatural, stone-like hardness. A devil fruit user, and one who relished the hunt. Naruto versus Kimimaro. The clearing crackled with tension as Kimimaro stepped forward, bones unsheathing from his arms. You care for your friend that much? That weakness will destroy you. Naruto answered with a glare, the air freezing around his fists. It's not weakness. It's why I'll win. Kimimaro attacked, each strike deadly and precise. Naruto ducked and dodged, letting his instincts and ice powers work together. Frost clung to Kimimaro's bones, slowing their movements just enough for Naruto to counter with shadow clones and bursts of freezing wind. But Kimimaro pressed on, tireless. You can't protect everyone. Naruto's determination only grew. Watch me battle on every front. All around, his friends fought for their lives. Choji swallowed the red pill, his chakra swelling as he broke Jirobo's prison. Niji's Byakugan blazed as he found the flaw in Kidamaru's web, turning the enemy's arrogance against him. Shikamaru's shadow danced, trapping Tayuya in the nick of time. Hiba and Akamaru, battered but unbroken, forced their enemies to retreat. But the cost was high, each victory earned with wounds and exhaustion, and not all of them would walk away unchanged. Onward, no turning back. As the sun set, Naruto's breath fogged in the cooling air. Kimimaro, wounded and staggering, finally collapsed, his devil fruit power spent. Naruto paused only long enough to check on his friends before dashing onward, the memory of his promise to Sakura driving him through the dusk. Somewhere ahead, Sasuke raced toward his own destiny, darkness and hope warring inside him. The chase was not over. Not yet. Dusk bled into night as Naruto pressed on alone, ice crystals trailing in his wake. The air grew colder, shadows deepening into a blue twilight. At last, he reached the edge of the Valley of the End, where two ancient statues stood watch over a furious, churning river. There, at the water's edge, stood Sasuke. He didn't turn as Naruto approached, his gaze fixed on the faces of Hashirama and Madara, their legacies carved in stone. Sasuke, Naruto shouted, voice echoing off the cliffs. It's over. Come home. Sasuke's shoulders tensed, but he didn't move. You don't understand, Naruto. I have to do this. I need power, enough to destroy Itachi. Enough to change my fate. Naruto shook his head, fists trembling with cold and emotion. You're not alone. We can get stronger together. Me, you, Sakura. You don't have to throw everything away. Sasuke finally turned, red eyes glowing in the dim light. The curse mark had spread, twisting his features into something almost unrecognizable. You think friendship is enough? That's your weakness, Naruto. I have to sever these bonds, or I'll never be free. The last battle begins. The river roared as they faced each other. Without another word, Sasuke launched himself forward, Chidori crackling in his hand. Naruto met him, the cold within erupting into a swirling spiral of ice. Hieton Rasengan. They clashed, jutsu meeting with a shockwave that sent water and frost flying. Lightning and ice, rage and desperation. Their voices carried over the thunder. I won't let you go. Then stop me if you can. A battle of wills and memories. The fight was brutal, each boy pushing past their limits. Sasuke's curse mark gave him inhuman speed and power. Naruto's devil fruit surged, the air freezing with every breath. They traded blows atop the river, then on the statues' heads, each memory flashing before Naruto's eyes, training together, laughing, fighting side by side. Why can't you see? Why can't I reach you? Sasuke's attacks grew more wild. Why do you care so much, Naruto? Why won't you give up on me? Naruto, battered but unyielding, answered through gritted teeth, because you're my friend. Because you're like a brother to me. The breaking point. Their final clash lit up the valley. Chidori against Rasengan. Black lightning against blue-white frost. The explosion sent both boys flying, crashing onto the riverbank, gasping and broken. Sasuke staggered to his feet, shadows swirling. For a moment, his eyes softened. Naruto, but then he turned away, pain hardening his voice. If I stay, I'll lose everything. Forgive me. He disappeared into the night, leaving Naruto alone beneath the ancient statues. Aftermath. Rain began to fall, washing away the blood and frost. Naruto lay in the mud, silent tears mixing with the cold. "I failed," he whispered. "Sakura, I'm sorry." But deep inside, the will to keep his promise, the will to never give up, survived. Even as the valley echoed with the storm of their broken friendship. The river ran high in the valley of the end, swollen with storm and sorrow. The statues of the founders loomed overhead, silent witnesses to a battle that had changed everything. At sunrise, Kakashi found Naruto unconscious on the riverbank, battered and frostbitten, the cold as much emotional as physical. Kakashi gathered him up, silent and grave, and raced back toward Konoha. He passed no sign of Sasuke. When Naruto awoke in the hospital days later, sunlight streaming across his bandaged hands, Sakura was at his bedside, her eyes rimmed red from sleepless nights. "Welcome back, Naruto," she whispered, trying to smile. Naruto searched her face for hope, for any sign that Sasuke had returned, but found only quiet heartbreak. "I tried, Sakura," Naruto said softly. "I gave it everything, but I couldn't bring him back." Sakura shook her head, blinking away tears. "You kept your promise. You never gave up. We'll get him back, Naruto. Somehow together." A village in mourning. The news of Sasuke's departure spread through Konoha like a shadow. Some whispered of betrayal, others of failure. But most saw only the loss of a friend, a prodigy, a teammate who had walked into darkness. Tsunade, now firmly in her role as Hokage, met with Team 7 in her office. Kakashi stood behind them, silent support. The Fifth's eyes were gentle but unwavering. "I'm proud of you," she told them. "You did more than anyone could have asked. But Sasuke made his choice. It's not your fault." Naruto's jaw clenched. "It's not over. I'll get stronger. I'll bring him home. That's a promise." Sakura nodded fiercely. "We'll all get stronger." Kakashi placed a hand on each of their shoulders. "We'll face the future together, as a team. Even if one of us is far away." Echoes of the past, seeds of the future. Days blurred into weeks. Sakura threw herself into training with Tsunade, learning to heal and to fight. Naruto trained with Jiraiya whenever the Toad Sage was in the village, determined to master his devil fruit power and every jutsu he could. Sometimes, Naruto found himself at the old Team 7 training ground, gazing at the empty swing where Sasuke used to sit. The wind there was colder now, but Naruto's heart held on to hope, thin and bright as a snowflake. Far away, a new path for Sasuke. On a distant, storm-tossed road, Sasuke traveled with Orochimaru's minions, the curse mark dull and silent for now. But every night, he dreamed of Konoha, of laughter, rivalry, and the bonds he could not quite sever. He touched the hilt of his new blade, whispering to the dark, "I'll get the strength I need. And one day, I'll face them again." A promise unbroken. Back in Konoha, Team 7, broken but unbowed, stood on the rooftops as evening fell. Sakura looked at Naruto and smiled, just a little. "We'll see him again, right?" Naruto looked at the horizon, the frost in his blood calm and clear. "Yeah, and next time, we'll bring him home." As the stars blinked into the night sky, hope, fragile, stubborn, unbreakable, shone in the hearts of those who would one day change the world. The days after Sasuke's defection settled into a quiet rhythm, broken only by the shouts of training and the soft murmur of rumors in the marketplace. Konoha had survived war and betrayal, but the sense of loss ran deep. Even the wind seemed to carry a note of longing. Naruto spent every free moment in training, Jiraiya's gruff voice echoing across the fields. "If you want to keep your promises, Naruto, you need more than raw power. You need control, discipline, heart." Naruto grinned, sweat freezing on his brow as he formed a dozen ice clones, each more stable than the last. "I'm not stopping until I can beat anyone, especially that bastard Orochimaru." Jiraiya chuckled, pride and worry mingling in his gaze. "You'll need it. The world is changing, Naruto. Devil fruits are popping up everywhere. Some villages are building armies. Others are losing themselves to fear. You're not the only target anymore." Sakura's path. Sakura's days were filled with lessons from Tsunade, healing the sick, reinforcing the hospital, and mastering chakra control to the point where she could shatter stone with a single punch. But at night, she stood on her apartment balcony, eyes searching the horizon. "Wherever you are, Sasuke, I hope you're safe, and I hope you find your way back." She met Naruto at the training ground one morning, both of them breathing hard, but sharing a laugh that felt like sunlight after a storm. "We'll get him back," she said, her voice stronger than ever. Naruto nodded, The ice in his veins steady and certain. We'll bring him home together. Storm clouds gather. Far to the west, in the ruins of a forgotten shrine, Orochimaru and Kabuto watched as Sasuke practiced, the air crackling with new, unholy jutsu. Orochimaru's smile was hungry. He grows stronger with every day, but so does Naruto, and the world's eyes are turning toward Konoha. Kabuto adjusted his glasses, voice soft. The Akatsuki are on the move. They want the bijou and anyone who stands in their way. Orochimaru's laugh slithered through the darkness. Let them come. The next era belongs to those who seize it. A farewell, for now. Jiraiya announced his departure one misty morning. It's time, Naruto. We're leaving the village. We'll find the secrets of your fruit and the fox, and we'll find the strength to face what's coming. Sakura hugged Naruto fiercely. Don't you dare come back weaker. He grinned, wiping his nose with his sleeve. Not a chance. You'll see. Tsunade watched them go from the Hokage's balcony, her gaze both hopeful and heavy with worry. Good luck, Naruto. The world needs your will and your heart. As Naruto and Jiraiya left Konoha behind, the frost on the village rooftops shimmered in the morning sun, a sign that even as old roads ended, new ones had already begun. The world beyond Konoha was wider and stranger than Naruto had ever imagined. With Jiraiya at his side, every sunrise brought a new adventure. Mountain passes dusted with morning frost, rivers flowing bright beneath the sun, villages bustling with life and whispering rumors of war and power. Jiraiya wasted no time. Training was constant, brutal, and unpredictable. Naruto ran until his legs trembled, balanced on water until the cold seeped into his bones, and summoned toads until his chakra felt wrung dry. More control, Naruto. Jiraiya barked as Naruto's ice clones shattered in a wild explosion of snowflakes. You can't rely on raw force. Every ounce of your power must answer your will, not your fear. Naruto wiped sweat from his brow, but determination burned in his eyes. I'll get there. For Sasuke. For Konoha. For me. Mysterious encounters. They traveled from bustling towns to remote outposts, hearing stories of devil fruit users everywhere. Some were hailed as heroes. A girl who summoned vines to regrow lost crops. A healer whose touch could turn wounds to moss. Others were feared. Villains who warped earth and sky for their own ends. In one port city, a crowd had gathered around a battered stall. Jiraiya and Naruto watched as a young man shaped glass with a touch, his devil fruit gift a source of both wonder and suspicion. Whispers trailed after him. A monster or a blessing? Jiraiya led Naruto away, his tone grave. You're not alone in this, Naruto. The world's changing. Some will love you, some will hate you, and some will do anything to control you. Naruto frowned, but stood taller. I won't let anyone use my power. Not ever. Dreams of Fox and Frost. That night, as they camped by a frozen stream, Naruto dreamt of the QB, its eyes blazing within a cage of ice. The fox's voice was cold and low. You chase strength, but at what cost? The world will fear what it cannot control. Do not forget who you are, boy. Naruto awoke shivering, but he remembered Jiraiya's words and Sakura's promise. I won't lose myself. I'll master this power my way. Letters from home. From time to time, a messenger hawk found them with letters from Sakura and Tsunade. Sakura wrote of her training, her hopes, and her belief in Team 7. Tsunade sent warnings, news of Akatsuki movements, missing ninja, and devil fruits falling into the wrong hands. Each letter reminded Naruto of what was at stake and what he fought for. Onward, with resolve. With each passing day, Naruto's ice techniques grew sharper, his control stronger. He learned to blend frost with chakra, to move like water and strike like winter wind. Jiraiya smiled, pride bright in his eyes, even as worry lingered beneath. One evening, as the sun set fire to the clouds, Jiraiya clapped Naruto on the shoulder. You've come far, kid, but the real test is still ahead. Are you ready? Naruto nodded, a smile fierce and sure. Just try and stop me, Arrow Sennin. As they pressed onward into the unknown, the road shone before them, a path of trials, promise, and the legacy of both ninja and devil fruit. And through it all, Naruto's will burned brighter than any ice. As summer deepened, rumors of the Akatsuki grew, silent, predatory, and unstoppable. Villages whispered of figures in black cloaks with crimson clouds, moving through the shadows like a gathering storm. Jiraiya and Naruto, always listening, found themselves tracing the wake of this mysterious organization more often than not. One evening in a riverside town, Jiraiya paused at a lantern-lit tavern, his eyes sharp beneath the banter. Be on your guard, Naruto. Akatsuki isn't just after the tailed beasts. They want power, and they won't care if it's devil fruit, Jinchuriki, or both. Naruto frowned, hand resting unconsciously on the hilt of a kunai. Let them come. I'm not afraid. But in his heart, a chill ran deeper than even his frost. I have to get stronger. For everyone. Akatsuki in motion. On a moonless night, a pair of figures walked a lonely road. One's eyes spun with red and black tomo, Itachi Uchiha. The other's skin shimmered like sharkskin, a massive blade slung over his shoulder, Kisame Hashigaki. They say the boy from Konoha commands both a demon fox and a power of the old world, Kisame said, voice like gravel. Itachi's gaze was unreadable. He's the key to what comes next. We move at dawn, a test of will. The next day, as Naruto practiced by a mountain lake, the world seemed to grow quiet, too quiet. The hair rose on the back of his neck. Jiraiya, sensing danger, called out. Naruto, stay close. From the mist, Kisame emerged, sword gleaming. Sorry, brat, but our boss wants to see what you can do. Naruto froze the surface of the lake with a wave of his hand, sliding backward as Kisame's blade crashed down, sending shards of ice flying. Naruto dodged and countered, his frost blocking the worst of the attacks. But Kisame's strength was monstrous. Then, a single word, soft and deadly. Enough. Itachi stepped onto the frozen water, Sharingan glowing. Naruto's heart hammered in his chest as memories of Sasuke and old wounds burned behind his eyes. You are not ready, Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi said. But you will be. We will come again. In a blur, they vanished, leaving the ice to crack and the lake to thaw in their wake. Jiraiya's warning. Jiraiya put a steadying hand on Naruto's shoulder. That was a warning. Next time, they won't hold back. The Akatsuki are the real deal. Don't face them alone. Naruto nodded, swallowing his fear. I'm not giving up. I promised. Jiraiya's eyes softened. And that promise is what makes you strong. Remember that, Naruto. Never let darkness decide who you become. Echoes across the world. Elsewhere, word spread of Akatsuki's interest in the boy of ice and demon. Spies traded secrets, armies readied themselves, and old powers stirred. In Konoha, Sakura stared at the full moon, praying for her friend's safety. Far away, Sasuke dreamed of red eyes and broken bonds, the curse mark cold on his skin. And through it all, Naruto's legend, shaped by hope, pain, and the chill of destiny, grew ever brighter against the gathering dark. Miles from Konoha, Naruto awoke before dawn, the world still and silvered with dew. Training with Jiraiya was relentless, hours of summoning, sparring, and pushing his devil fruit power to new limits. Yet, each morning, he still felt a dull ache of loneliness. His thoughts drifted to Sakura, to Tsunade, to Sasuke's shadow haunting his dreams. He sat beside a campfire as Jiraiya snored nearby, writing a letter home. The words came slowly, but they were honest. Dear Sakura, I'm getting stronger, but I miss everyone. Tell Tsunade I haven't frozen anything important yet. I'll bring Sasuke back, I promise. Don't give up on me. Naruto. He folded the letter and tied it to a hawk's leg, watching as it soared into the pink light of dawn. In Konoha, strengthening bonds. Back in the village, Sakura trained under Tsunade's watchful eye. Her healing grew faster, her chakra control sharper, but the emptiness of Team 7's absence gnawed at her resolve. Each letter from Naruto brought hope, and she replied in kind. Stories of village life, encouragement, and the promise that she was fighting, too. Sakura learned to stand strong alone, but every night, she looked at the Hokage monument and whispered, "Come back soon, you idiot." Tsunade watched her apprentice's growth with a rare, private smile. These bonds, they make us strong, not weak. Far away, Sasuke's struggle. In a shadowed lair, Sasuke's training under Orochimaru grew harsher, the line between power and pain blurring more with each passing day. At night, when sleep came, he dreamed of laughter and warmth, of two friends who would never stop chasing him. Why can't I forget them? The curse mark pulsed, cold and hungry. But Sasuke's will burn stubbornly beneath it. I chose this path. I can't go back. Not yet. Letters and promises. Naruto's letters crossed the land, reaching Sakura, Shikamaru, even Iruka-sensei. They were read and reread, hope woven through every clumsy sentence. Each reply reminded Naruto that he wasn't alone, that even across mountains and forests, the bonds of Team 7 endured. Jiraiya watched Naruto's determination harden with each message from home. Your friends believe in you, Naruto. Don't waste that faith. Naruto grinned, the ice in his veins bright and clear. I won't. I'll become strong enough to save them all. A storm on the horizon, but the world outside did not wait. Akatsuki moved in secret, Orochimaru sharpened his plans, and the number of devil fruit users, friend and foe, continued to grow. Yet even as threats gathered, a simple truth echoed across the distance. As long as bonds remained, there was always hope for tomorrow. Days slipped into weeks as Naruto's journey with Jiraiya led them through rain-drenched forests, crowded border towns, and lonely mountain passes. Each new place bore rumors of strange happenings. Rivers that ran with frost in summer, wildfires tamed by a single touch, fields revived by miracles. In every tale, Jiraiya listened intently. The world's waking up, Naruto. Devil fruit powers are changing everything, faster than even the villages can keep up. Naruto worked harder than ever. Each morning began with chakra control and ice technique drills. Each afternoon, summoning jutsu and taijutsu matches that left him bruised and shivering. His Hieton Rasengan grew more focused, cold spiraling around his fists without losing its shape. He learned to use his frost to heal small wounds, to protect, not just to attack. Jiraiya grinned when Naruto managed to blend shadow clones and ice, sending a flurry of crystal doppelgangers across the field. That's it. Make your power your own, not just a weapon, but a part of you. New encounters. In a mountain village, Naruto met a wandering merchant whose arm was covered in living vines, a devil fruit user who healed the sick in exchange for stories. She looked at Naruto with kind eyes. Your power doesn't have to make you lonely. Use it to lift others up, and you'll never walk alone. The words settled deep in Naruto's heart, an echo of every letter from Sakura, every word of encouragement from Iruka and Tsunade. Dark whispers, but there were warnings, too. In a smoky tavern, a rogue ninja with stone-hard skin boasted of a hidden army forming in the land of Earth. Mercenaries gathering devil fruit users to challenge even the 5 Kage. Jiraiya paid for their meal and led Naruto away, voice low. Never forget, kid, your strength will draw allies and enemies. Always keep your heart strong. At the edge of night, that evening, as they camped beside a river, Naruto caught a faint glimmer in the water, an image of Sasuke's face, haunted and lonely. Wait for me, Naruto promised the stars. I'm coming. I won't give up. Jiraiya sat beside him, uncharacteristically quiet. You're getting stronger, Naruto. Strong enough to shape the world. But what will you do with that power when the time comes? Naruto looked up, eyes fierce. I'll use it to save my friends. To protect everyone who believes in me. That's my way. The river's current swept on, cold, clear, and full of possibility. The dawn was sharp and cold in the high mountains as Jiraiya led Naruto to a lonely plateau where the wind howled like a living thing. Snow clung to the rocks, refusing to melt even in the summer sun. Today's lesson, Jiraiya announced, isn't about jutsu. It's about you, Naruto. How far you're willing to go, and what you'll hold on to when the world pushes back. He pointed to a wide, frozen lake nestled in the valley below. You're going to cross that, using only your own strength. No shortcuts, no help from me. Naruto's breath fogged in the morning air. Just cross it. Jiraiya's smile was uncharacteristically grim. Just cross it. But you'll see, the hardest test isn't always the loudest. Across the lake, Naruto stepped onto the ice, feeling the unnatural chill of his own power beneath his sandals. Each step echoed his doubts and hopes. The wind whipped, throwing snow in his eyes. The far shore looked impossibly distant. Don't slip. Don't stop. Don't look back. As he moved, the lake seemed to fight him. Gusts spun snow into blinding sheets. The ice groaned and cracked beneath his weight. His mind filled with memories. Iruka's encouragement, Sasuke's challenge, Sakura's gentle faith. When his strength flagged, he remembered Gaara's pain, Hinata's courage, Lee's stubborn optimism. Every bond became a hand steadying him. Halfway across, the ice fractured. Naruto tumbled, frost lancing through his limbs. For a heartbeat, the voice of the Kyuubi growled in his mind. Are you afraid, little human? But then, above the roar, he heard Sakura's voice, soft and strong. Don't give up, Naruto. He pulled himself up, heart pounding, and summoned all the power within. Not just the devil fruit, not just the fox, but his own stubborn will. Ice reformed beneath his feet, not jagged but smooth and sure. Naruto walked the final steps, never looking back. A teacher's pride. Jiraiya waited on the far shore, arms folded, watching with a rare, quiet pride. Naruto reached him, shivering but upright, eyes blazing with triumph. Jiraiya nodded. That's what it means to be strong, Naruto. Not just power, but heart. Remember that. Naruto grinned through chattering teeth. Does that mean I get ramen tonight? Jiraiya laughed, ruffling his hair. You've earned it, kid. A glimpse of destiny. As they walked back to camp, a cold wind carried new scents, smoke from distant fires, the metallic tang of coming conflict. Jiraiya's expression grew thoughtful. Your journey's only beginning. Konoha will need you soon, Naruto. The world's about to change. Naruto stared out at the endless horizon, determination settling in his bones like a promise. Let it come. I'm ready. The campfire crackled as twilight settled over the mountains. Naruto was still buzzing from his victory on the ice, wolfing down ramen as Jiraiya scribbled notes into a thick, battered journal. The quiet was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Suddenly, the flames flickered. The air grew tense, colder than any frost Naruto could conjure. Jiraiya's pen stopped mid-sentence. We have company, he said, his voice calm but sharp. From the darkness, 3 figures stepped into the firelight. Their cloaks bore the faint outline of a symbol Naruto had learned to dread, a red cloud on black. Akatsuki, the first, was a tall, masked man with a wild shock of blue hair. The second, shorter and sharp-eyed, flexed his arms, his skin glinting like black marble. The third, a woman, trailed mist from her fingertips, her devil fruit power chilling the very ground she walked on. Jiraiya stood, shielding Naruto with a glance. What do you want? The blue-haired leader's voice was smooth and mocking. The same as everyone, old man. Power. The boy. The demon fox. And that new flavor of ice, too. A sudden assault. Before Jiraiya could reply, the marble-skinned man rushed Naruto, his fist shattering the earth. Naruto dodged, ice coating his arms as he countered with a freezing punch. The man laughed, devil fruit power letting him shrug off the cold. But Naruto's strike slowed him, frost creeping deeper with each hit. The woman unleashed a wave of mist, turning the ground to slippery glass. Naruto summoned ice clones, sending them darting around her, shattering her focus. Jiraiya took on the leader, toad oil blazing as he countered jutsu with a flurry of wild taijutsu and water style. The Akatsuki leader grinned. You've trained him well, but it won't be enough. Naruto's resolve. The fight pressed Naruto to his limits. Every move was watched, every weakness probed. But he refused to back down. I promised, no matter what, I won't lose to anyone. He let his devil fruit power blend with chakra, forming a Hieton Rasengan and smashing through the marble man's defenses. The Akatsuki woman shrieked as frost caught her leg, Naruto's clones pinning her until Jiraiya forced the rest back with a wall of fire. Panting, bruised but standing, Naruto glared at the leader. You can't have my power. I'll never let you hurt my friends, or my village. The leader's mask twisted into a smile. This was only a test, boy. Next time, you'll face the real storm. With a swirl of mist and shadow, the Akatsuki vanished, leaving only cold silence and a new weight in the night air. Aftermath. Jiraiya helped Naruto up, pride mixing with concern. You did well, Naruto, but it's getting more dangerous. We need to finish your training soon and get back to Konoha. Naruto nodded, fierce and determined despite his exhaustion. I'm ready. Whatever comes next, I'll face it head on. The mountains echoed with the promise, and the wind carried word of the boy whose ice would reshape the fate of shinobi. Morning broke clear and cold after the Akatsuki attack. Naruto sat quietly at the edge of camp, nursing a bruise and watching the sun rise over frosted peaks. Jiraiya brewed tea in silence, eyes scanning the horizon, thoughts already turning homeward. A hawk descended through the crisp air, a scroll tied to its leg. Naruto recognized the official seal of the Hokage. He untied the letter with trembling hands, heart thudding with anticipation. He read aloud as Jiraiya listened. To Naruto Uzumaki. Konoha needs you. The Akatsuki are on the move, and new devil fruit users have appeared near our borders. Tsunade requests your immediate return. Stay alert. The world is watching. A second, Smaller note was tucked inside. It was in Sakura's careful handwriting. Naruto, we're getting stronger, but it's not the same without you. Come home soon, and don't you dare do anything reckless. Sakura, Naruto's eyes stung. He clutched the letter, feeling both pride and longing. They need us, Ero-Sennin. Konoha needs us. Jiraiya nodded, gaze softening. Then let's not keep them waiting. Preparing for the journey back, they broke camp quickly. Jiraiya checked their supplies while Naruto made sure his ice techniques were sharp, summoning, Rasengan, and his new blend of ice clones and wind style. He felt the strength in his body, the discipline in his mind, and the certainty that this time, he was coming home stronger. As they descended the mountain path, Jiraiya offered rare praise. You're not the same boy who left Konoha, Naruto. Remember that when you see your friends again. Naruto grinned. I will. I want to show everyone how much I've grown. Konoha in waiting. Back in Konoha, Sakura trained late into the night, splitting stones in the hospital courtyard and healing the injured by day. She looked to the gate every evening, heart leaping at the rumor of travelers, but always returning home alone. Tsunade watched from her office, anxiety etched in every line of her face. Reports from the ENBU piled up, Akatsuki movements, devil fruit users gathering near the land of fire, shadows lengthening on every border. Hurry, Naruto. The next storm will not be kind. A promise renewed. As Naruto and Jiraiya neared the village, the forest seemed more alive. The breeze smelled of home, and each step carried the weight of both old memories and new resolve. Naruto paused at the crest of a familiar hill, gazing down at the rooftops of Konoha glittering in the sunlight. I'm back, and this time, I won't let anyone down. Jiraiya smiled, clapping a hand on his shoulder. Let's show them what you're made of. Together, master and student walked into the future, toward old friends, new battles, and a destiny written in both ice and fire. The sun was high as Naruto and Jiraiya passed beneath Konoha's gates, their arrival drawing curious looks and excited whispers. Word spread quickly. Naruto was back, and he was different. Taller, stronger, his eyes clearer, and his step surer than when he'd left. Iruka was the first to greet them, arms wide and smile wider. Welcome home, Naruto. We were starting to think you'd gone and frozen the whole world. Naruto laughed, feeling the warmth of the village soak into him, melting away months of loneliness. Just a few lakes, Iruka-sensei. Nothing major. Jiraiya excused himself with a wink, heading off to report to Tsunade. Go see your friends, Naruto. You've earned it. Reunion with Sakura. Naruto's first stop was the hospital. He found Sakura in the training yard, her punch shattering a boulder as easily as breaking bread. For a moment, he simply watched, awed by how much she'd changed. Sakura turned, sensing him. Her eyes widened, then filled with tears she didn't bother to hide. You idiot. What took you so long? Naruto grinned sheepishly. Didn't want to come back until I could really protect you. And I missed you. Sakura's glare faded to a bright, relieved smile. She threw her arms around him, hugging tight. Welcome home, Naruto. Konoha's not the same without you. Team 7's absence, and a silent promise. They walked together through the bustling streets, pausing at their old training grounds. The empty swing where Sasuke once sat creaked in the wind. Naruto placed a hand on the cold wood, promising silently, next time, we bring him back together. Sakura wiped her eyes, voice steady. We'll get stronger, all of us. Team 7 isn't finished yet. Tsunade summons. Jiraiya found them at sunset, his voice serious. The Hokage wants to see you both. There are new threats, and not just Akatsuki. Devil fruit users from beyond the land of fire are appearing on every border. The world is changing. Naruto's smile faded, replaced by quiet determination. Whatever's coming, we'll face it. Together, Sakura nodded, a new confidence in her stance. Let's show everyone what Team 7 can do. A village watching. As night fell, word of Naruto's return spread through every district and alley. Old friends watched from afar, some relieved, some anxious. The boy of frost had come home, not as an outcast, but as a hope. On a distant hill, a stranger in black robes watched the lights of Konoha flicker. A faint smile curled his lips. Let the games begin. Within the village walls, Naruto, Sakura, and all of Konoha braced themselves for the storm to come, united and more determined than ever. Night had deepened by the time Naruto and Sakura reached the Hokage Tower. The halls were alive with hurried footsteps, messengers darting past with fresh reports and anxious faces. At the top, Tsunade waited, her desk crowded with scrolls, maps, and a single steaming cup of tea. She looked up as they entered, her expression softening for just a moment before settling into Hokage steel. "Welcome home, Naruto." "Sakura, we have little time for celebrations." Jiraiya stood at her side, his arms crossed, the lines around his eyes deeper than before. Tsunade gestured for them to sit. "Things have changed since you left." Akatsuki grows bolder. "We have reports of devil fruit users forming rogue bands outside our borders, some attacking, some seeking sanctuary. And the council fears these powers will tip the balance of the whole shinobi world." Naruto frowned, ice prickling at his fingers. "Are they really that dangerous?" Jiraiya answered. "Some are lost, looking for belonging. Others are monsters in human skin. Akatsuki isn't just after the bijou now. They're recruiting any devil fruit user strong enough to bend a nation." "An urgent mission." Tsunade handed Naruto a sealed scroll. "We have a lead on a group of devil fruit users hiding near the border. Some are barely older than you. Kids, scared and hunted. Akatsuki is after them. I want you to go, Naruto. Take Sakura and any allies you trust. Reach them first." Sakura leaned forward. "Are we rescuing them?" Tsunade nodded. "If we can, yes. Konoha will offer protection. If not, do what you must to keep them out of Akatsuki's hands." Naruto's jaw set. "We'll do it. I'll make them see they're not alone, just like you all did for me." Team 7 rallies. They left the tower under a sky full of stars, determination burning between them. Naruto's frost crackled along the rooftops as he and Sakura hurried to gather allies. Shikamaru for strategy, Kiba and Akamaru for tracking, Neji for his Byakugan. Each answered the call without hesitation. At dawn, as Konoha stirred to life, Team 7 and their friends set out, facing a world that was changing faster than any of them could have dreamed. Sakura looked back at the gates, her voice full of hope. "Whatever's waiting out there, we'll face it together." Naruto nodded, the cold in his veins sharp with purpose. This time, no one gets left behind. Elsewhere, dark designs. On a distant ridge, an Akatsuki agent watched their departure through a spyglass, a cruel smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Run, little leaf ninja. We'll see who finds the lost children first." As a new day dawned, fate spun tighter around the world of shinobi, and the legend of Naruto Uzumaki, the boy with ice and fire, prepared to meet its next test. The sun crested the horizon as Team 7 and their allies sped through the forests of the Fire Country. Kiba and Akamaru led the way, noses twitching for the faintest scent. Neji's Byakugan scanned the undergrowth, his voice calm and focused. "There's a group to the north, 5 signatures, all anxious, moving fast." Another team approaches from the east. Their chakra is wrong. Akatsuki. Naruto's hands clenched at his sides. The cold inside him pulsed with urgency, but his resolve burned hotter. "We can't let Akatsuki get to them first. Move." Sakura kept pace beside him, medical kit secured and eyes sharp. Shikamaru ran calculations in his head, every trap and route mapped with lazy precision. "If we cut through the river bend, we'll get there just ahead of them. But be ready, they'll expect resistance." The team split, each member falling into place. They were no longer just students. They were shinobi of Konoha, bound by mission and heart. The hunted. In a clearing, 5 frightened teenagers huddled close. Each bore the signs of devil fruit power. A girl whose hair flowed like water, a boy whose skin shimmered silver in the morning light, another who left footprints of moss where he walked. The leader, a pale boy with golden eyes, tried to rally them. "Don't be afraid. I won't let them hurt us. We just have to keep running." A kunai hissed from the shadows. The boy spun, shielding his friends with an arm that transformed to metal. The Akatsuki had arrived. Clash in the woods. Naruto and his squad burst into the clearing just as masked Akatsuki operatives attacked. Kiba and Akamaru struck first, knocking one enemy aside. Shikamaru's shadow stretched long, freezing another in place. Naruto faced the Akatsuki leader, a woman with silver tattoos glowing beneath her cloak. "Step aside, boy. They're dangerous. They belong with us." Naruto's eyes flashed. "No one belongs to you. If they want to come to Konoha, they're free to choose." She attacked, her tattoos transforming into whips of energy. Naruto countered with a wall of ice, pushing her back. Sakura darted among the frightened devil fruit users, healing a wounded girl and calming the others. Neji intercepted another Akatsuki with a flurry of gentle fist strikes, his Byakugan reading every movement. Heart and power. The clearing erupted in chaos. Clones and ice, smoke and shadow. Naruto moved like winter wind, weaving between his friends and foes, defending, protecting, never backing down. The pale boy met Naruto's eyes, trembling but determined. "Why are you helping us?" Naruto grinned. "Because you're just like me. You deserve a place to belong." With renewed hope, the Devil Fruit teens rallied, their powers combining to drive Akatsuki back. The enemy retreated, leaving threats and promises in their wake. A new kind of family. As quiet settled over the forest, Sakura finished patching wounds. Shikamaru confirmed their route home was clear. Naruto knelt before the Devil Fruit users. "If you want to come to Konoha, we'll protect you." "That's a promise." The pale boy hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you. My name's Tetsuya. We'll come." Team 7 and their new allies began the journey home, watched by unseen eyes and shadowed by a growing storm. The path back to Konoha wound through forests heavy with spring rain. Tetsuya and the other rescued Devil Fruit users kept close to Naruto, their eyes flicking to every sound in the trees. Despite their fear, the team's steady pace and easy banter offered comfort. Naruto's laughter, Sakura's healing touch, and Kiba's jokes helping thaw old suspicion. As they walked, Naruto chatted with Tetsuya, curiosity burning. "What's your power, anyway?" Tetsuya flexed his hand, silver running up his arm. Kin no Mi, the metal fruit. It's saved us more than once, but it's why everyone hunts us too." Naruto nodded, understanding all too well. People are scared of what's different. But Konoha can be different too. It was for me. Sakura walked beside the youngest girl, who could make flowers bloom with a touch. She offered a gentle smile. "We're not perfect, but we'll protect you." Shikamaru and Neji ranged ahead and behind, senses sharp for any sign of pursuit. Kiba and Akamaru scouted the flanks, noses to the wind. New bonds. As camp was set that night, Tetsuya and the others watched in awe as Sakura whipped up hot tea from foraged herbs, and Naruto started a crackling fire with a swirl of icy breath. Tetsuya found himself asking quietly, "Were you ever scared of your power?" Naruto grinned, poking at the flames. "Every day, but I've got friends now. That's what makes it bearable, and what makes me strong." The group huddled around the fire, stories traded back and forth. For the first time, the rescued kids began to laugh, shy and uncertain, but real. Threats never far. But as the stars wheeled overhead, Shikamaru spotted movement on the horizon. A flicker of red cloud. Akatsuki watching, waiting. He kept the information to himself, not wanting to scare their charges. Instead, he whispered a plan to Neji, who nodded and took the night watch. "Let them try," Shikamaru thought. "They'll find out Konoha protects its own." Konoha's gates. By midday, the group crested the final hill. Konoha spread before them, bustling and alive, its rebuilt walls gleaming in the sun. Tetsuya and the others stared, hope and fear mingling in their eyes. Naruto led the way, waving at the guards. "We're home, and we've got new friends." Tsunade and Shizune met them at the gate, Yinbyu flanking them. Tsunade's expression was stern, but her eyes softened as she saw the fear and hope in the faces of the Devil Fruit children. "Welcome to Konoha. Here, you're not just tools or threats, you're people. We'll give you a chance to prove it." Tetsuya bowed, overwhelmed. "Thank you, Lady Hokage. We'll do our best." Naruto grinned, eyes sparkling on the breeze. "Told you, this is a place to belong." The arrival of Tetsuya and the other Devil Fruit users sent ripples through Konoha. Children peeked from doorways as the newcomers passed, while older villagers whispered, worry and wonder mingling. But under Tsunade's protection, the village adapted, slowly but surely. Tetsuya and his friends were housed in the academy's old dormitories, where Irika greeted them with gentle authority. "You're safe here," he promised. "Konoha gives everyone a chance, but respect is a two-way street." Classes began the next day, lessons in language, customs, and the shinobi arts. Sakura volunteered to help, showing the flower girl, Hana, how to focus her chakra to heal cuts and bruises. Kiba challenged the boy with moss powers to a friendly race through the forest. Laughter, awkward and new, began to echo through the training grounds. Naruto's example. Naruto visited the dorms each morning, sharing breakfast and stories of his own lonely days. "Everyone here thought I was trouble too," he confided. "But I proved them wrong, one bowl of ramen at a time." Tetsuya absorbed every word, eyes shining with determination. "We'll do the same." We'll become strong enough to protect this place, like you. Naruto ruffled his hair. That's the spirit. You don't have to be perfect, just don't give up. A village adjusts, not always easy. Some villagers eyed the newcomers warily, afraid of the powers they couldn't understand. But others were moved by their courage, offering warm food and kind words. Team 10 brought snacks, and Shikamaru taught Tetsuya shogi, muttering, "Troublesome, but you're not half bad." Sakura found herself growing close to Hana, the flower girl, and taught her the art of making healing salves. Chakra is just energy. It's your heart that decides how you use it. As days passed, bonds began to form, not just with Team 7, but across the village. The newcomers found smiles coming easier, laughter louder, and hope a little brighter. Dangers linger, yet beyond the walls, danger brewed. Akatsuki agents watched from the forests, taking notes, waiting for a weakness. Even within Konoha, a handful of suspicious villagers wrote anonymous letters to Tsunade, warning of disaster. Tsunade read each one carefully, but held fast. "We can't shut the world out," she told Shizune. "Naruto's right. If we don't try to build bridges, the next storm will tear us apart." Night promises. That night, as the village lights twinkled, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument with Tetsuya. Together, they gazed over Konoha. "One day, you'll look at this place and know you belong," Naruto said. Tetsuya nodded, a smile blooming at last. "Because you believed in me first." Naruto grinned, hope strong as ever. That's what friends do. Peace in Konoha was always uneasy, fragile as glass, easily fractured by whispers and old fears. As the new devil fruit users settled in, trouble found its way into the cracks. Early one morning, Irika discovered graffiti scrawled on the dormitory wall. "Freaks out." Tetsuya tried to laugh it off, but Hana's eyes filled with tears. Naruto arrived to find them scrubbing away the paint, cheeks burning with shame and anger. Naruto crouched beside them. "Don't listen. People were scared of me too. The only way to change their minds is to keep showing them who you really are." Sakura joined in, her quiet determination making the others braver. Soon, more students, Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon, helped clean, their presence a silent vote of confidence. Suspicions and sabotage, but the unrest was more than words. That afternoon, a training exercise went awry when a rope bridge over the creek snapped beneath Tetsuya and Hana. Naruto, nearby, froze the water to cushion their fall, but the accident sent rumors flying. Some claimed the new arrivals had sabotaged the bridge themselves. Others whispered that trouble always followed outsiders. Shikamaru investigated the ropes, brow furrowed. "These were cut. Someone wants to make you look bad." Nijis Byakugan swept the area, picking out a group of older academy students sneaking away. "We'll find the culprit. Just be patient." A test of trust. At the next village council, heated debate erupted. Some called for the devil fruit users to be sent away for everyone's safety. Others, led by Irika and a handful of Chunin, argued for compassion and patience. Tsunade silenced the room. "We are stronger because of our bonds, not in spite of them." Naruto risked his life to bring these children here. "Anyone who tries to undermine that unity will answer to me." Naruto stood at the council's edge, fists clenched. "You gave me a home. I'm asking you to give them a chance. That's what makes us Leaf Ninja." His words carried weight. Some hearts softened, some remained hard. But for the first time, the new arrivals realized they had real allies and real hope. Akatsuki moves in the dark. Meanwhile, beyond the village, Akatsuki agents sent their latest reports to their leaders. "The village is divided," one wrote. "The boys' frost protects the newcomers, but their trust is a weakness. The time to strike is near." In Konoha, Team 7 kept a silent watch, ready for whatever storm would come. Heavy clouds rolled over Konoha as news of the sabotage spread, setting the village on edge. The new devil fruit users grew quieter, sticking close to the academy grounds. Even laughter at breakfast felt brittle, ready to shatter at the next rumor. Naruto doubled down, inviting Tetsuya and the others to join Team 7 for training at the main grounds. Sakura paired with Hana, teaching her how to weave flowers and healing into basic medical ninjutsu. Kiba sparred with the moss-footed boy, grinning as Akamaru tumbled them both into a muddy heap. Shikamaru and Niji kept watch at the perimeter, sharp-eyed and ready. "Troublesome times," Shikamaru muttered. "But that's when you see who's really worth trusting." A village divided. Tsunade and Irika led town hall meetings, encouraging dialogue. Some villagers remained wary, but others, shopkeepers, elders, even a few old skeptics, began offering food, work, and simple kindnesses to the newcomers. That night, Naruto found Tetsuya staring up at the Hokage monument, worry shadowing his face. "What if they never trust us?" Tetsuya whispered. Naruto sat beside him, voice steady. "You can't control what others believe. All you can do is keep being yourself. That's how you change hearts, one at a time." Tetsuya nodded, comforted by Naruto's certainty. The warning. As the next day dawned, Sakura rushed into the dormitory, face pale. "You found an Akatsuki mask at the edge of the village. There are footprints, fresh." Alarms spread like wildfire. Tsunade called for an immediate lockdown. Teams patrolled the walls, while Jonin and Chunin prepared for possible infiltration. Naruto bristled, the ice in his veins singing with urgency. "They're after the new kids. We can't let them get taken." Sakura put a reassuring hand on his arm. "We're ready this time. They'll have to get through all of us." Enemies gather. Beyond Konoha's walls, Akatsuki agents conferred beneath a canopy of twisted pines. Tonight, their leader hissed, "We strike under cover of the storm. The boy with ice will not stand in our way." Lightning flashed on the horizon. Rain began to fall, drumming on rooftops, washing away old doubts and fears. Resolved before the storm. As the storm gathered, Team 7, their allies, and the Devil Fruit newcomers gathered in the Academy Hall. Naruto stood before them, eyes blazing with conviction. "We protect each other, no matter what. That's what it means to be part of this village." Tetsuya and his friends nodded, standing a little taller, hope and courage finally blooming in their hearts. The storm outside grew wilder, but inside Konoha, the will of fire burned brighter than ever. Thunder shook the night as rain hammered Konoha's rooftops. Lightning revealed figures moving on the walls, shinobi tense and ready, eyes scanning for the threat they knew was coming. Inside the academy dorms, the Devil Fruit newcomers huddled with Team 7 and their friends, hearts pounding with fear and hope. Suddenly, alarms rang out. A masked figure leaped over the wall, followed by 3 more, each radiating killing intent and unnatural power. The Akatsuki had arrived. Naruto was already on his feet, frost curling around his fists. Sakura moved to shield the younger kids, medical supplies at the ready. Shikamaru, Niji, and Kiba fanned out, coordinating defenses with practiced ease. Tetsuya swallowed his fear and stood beside Naruto. "We're not running this time." Naruto shot him a grin. "Good. We're stronger together." Chaos at the gates. The Akatsuki struck fast. One unleashed a shockwave that blew the doors open. Another sent streams of liquid shadow writhing through the halls. Kiba and Akamaru countered with ferocious teamwork, while Niji's Byakugan kept the enemy from flanking the group. Shikamaru's shadows tangled with the invaders, buying precious seconds. Sakura attended to wounded students, her calm at the center of the storm. A masked Akatsuki member, tattoos glowing silver, locked eyes with Naruto. "Give us the Devil Fruit children, and we'll spare the rest." Naruto's answer was ice-sharp and certain. "Not happening." Power unleashed. Naruto charged, frost spiraling from his hands. The Akatsuki operative countered, energy tattoos turning into whips of light, but Naruto's training shone. His ice blocked, redirected, and shattered each attack. Tetsuya stepped forward, metal skin deflecting a blow meant for Hana, who responded by sending vines snaking to ensnare their attackers. The others, moss, water, and silver, joined the fight, powers clumsy but brave. Rain and chakra collided in the night, every strike echoing the village's will to protect its own. Turning the tide, Kiba and Akamaru drove one Akatsuki into a waiting net of Shikamaru's shadow. Niji sealed another's chakra with a precise strike. Sakura and Hana formed a shield around the injured, refusing to retreat. But the leader of the Akatsuki group was relentless, pushing Naruto to the limit. For a moment, it seemed the frost would crack, until Naruto remembered every word of encouragement, every promise made. With a shout, he unleashed a Hieton Rasengan, freezing the ground and sending shards of ice through the enemy's defenses. Tetsuya and the others followed, their combined powers finally overwhelming the last of the invaders. Aftermath. The rain eased. Yinbiyu arrived, securing the unconscious Akatsuki and tending to the wounded. Inside the battered dorms, Naruto and Tetsuya stood, battered but unbroken, the newcomers cheering with exhausted relief. Sakura hugged Naruto fiercely. You did it. We all did. Tsunade arrived, her pride barely masked by stern orders. This is Konoha. Here, no one fights alone. As dawn broke over the storm-washed village, even the most stubborn skeptics saw a new truth. In the face of darkness, unity was their greatest strength. Morning dawned soft and clear, the storm's fury replaced by golden sunlight gleaming off every leaf and rooftop in Konoha. The village bustled with activity, but beneath the hum, a gentler current ran, gratitude, relief, and a quiet pride. Inside the academy, makeshift beds lined the halls. Healers moved from one to another, patching wounds and calming nightmares. Sakura and Hana worked side by side, Sakura's chakra soothing sprains while Hana coaxed wildflowers to bloom on the windowsills, filling the air with hope. Naruto drifted from bed to bed, offering clumsy jokes and awkward encouragement. The new devil fruit users looked at him with a mix of awe and gratitude. Even Tetsuya, his arm still wrapped in a bandage of silvery metal, managed a crooked grin. We did it, right? Naruto knelt, fist-bumping him. Yeah, we protected our home. Together, the village responds. For the first time, villagers visited the academy not with suspicion, but with gifts, sweet buns, handmade blankets, toys for the youngest. Irika handed out breakfast with a proud smile. You all proved yourselves last night. That's the Leaf way. Even some of the most skeptical elders nodded in approval as they passed Naruto and Tetsuya in the street. Tsunade, moving briskly through the aftermath, paused just long enough to clasp Naruto's shoulder. Well done. You didn't just fight. You inspired the village to stand together. That's real strength. Jiraiya watched from the shadows, pride in his eyes as Naruto beamed under the Hokage's praise. A moment for Team 7. At sunset, Team 7 and their closest friends gathered on the roof of the academy. Shikamaru sprawled against the tiles, Hiba and Akamaru wrestling nearby, Niji standing guard as always. Sakura, tired but smiling, joined Naruto at the edge, watching the lights come on across the village. Sakura's voice was quiet but sure. Last night proved it. No matter what power someone has, what matters most is the bonds we build. Naruto nodded, the cold in his veins replaced by warmth. I used to think power was everything. Now I know, friends, family, that's what gives power meaning. The others murmured agreement, and for a while, there was only the peace of the moment. Unfinished business. Yet as darkness fell, Tsunade met with Jiraiya and Kakashi. Akatsuki won't stop after one defeat. They've seen our strength, but they'll look for our weaknesses next. And Sasuke, Jiraiya nodded. Naruto's ready. If the world is changing, we have to be ready to change with it. But never lose sight of who we are. Promise at sunrise. Before dawn, Naruto slipped out to the Hokage monument. Tetsuya joined him, silent and thoughtful. What comes next? Tetsuya asked. Naruto looked over the rooftops, hope bright in his eyes. We keep moving forward. We get stronger, together. And one day, I'll bring everyone home, including Sasuke. That's a promise. The first rays of sunlight broke over Konoha, lighting the future with gold and frost. The next adventure awaited, but for today, the village rested, stronger and more united than ever. The story of Konoha's stand spread quickly, faster than wind, faster than any messenger hawk. In the land of fire and beyond, people whispered about the village that had faced down Akatsuki and sheltered devil fruit users without fear. Some called it a miracle, others a dangerous gamble. In small villages, parents told their children, if you're lost, head for Konoha, they protect their own. In the stone halls of rival ninja clans, leaders pored over reports, debating if the Leaf's example was foolish or visionary. Akatsuki regroups. Far from Konoha, within a cold mountain cavern, Akatsuki agents met in shadow. Their leader's voice was silk and steel. The Leaf has become a beacon. We can use this or destroy it. But next time, we strike at what they cannot protect. A pair of red eyes gleamed in the darkness. Eyes Naruto would recognize from his nightmares. Let them have their hope, whispered a familiar, haunted voice. It won't save them from what's coming. Orochimaru's schemes. Elsewhere, Orochimaru watched his own spies report on Konoha's victory, lips curling in a serpentine smile. So, the boy's ice has drawn the world's attention? Good. While the nations chase new toys, I'll take what matters most. Behind him, Sasuke trained harder than ever, haunted by memories of home, Team 7, and the fight that left his heart split between revenge and regret. "You've grown, Naruto," he thought, hand clenching on his sword. "But so have I. Next time, it will be different." Konoha, seeds of change. Within Konoha, life began to settle. The devil fruit newcomers attended lessons and found their place. Tetsuya worked in the smithy, his metal powers aiding the village blacksmith. Hana grew herbs for the hospital. Little by little, suspicion faded, replaced by respect. Team 7 found themselves busier than ever. Missions increased, and Tsunade called on them often to protect the village's new reputation as a place of refuge. Sakura wrote to her parents, "We're making a difference. It's slow, but it's real. Maybe the world can change after all." Naruto trained each morning, ice and chakra blending more smoothly than ever before. In the evenings, he joined his friends for ramen, laughter ringing louder than doubt. A letter from Jiraiya. Before leaving on a new mission, Jiraiya left a note for Naruto. "You're ready for whatever comes. Trust your bonds, but never stop growing. The world's about to get a lot bigger, and so are you." Looking to tomorrow. As another day faded, Naruto stood on the monument, watching lanterns flicker below. He thought of Sasuke, of all the friends he'd found, and of the promise he still carried in his heart. "Whatever happens next, I'll protect them. I'll never let anyone feel alone again." Far beyond Konoha, winds shifted and ripples spread, heralding a new era and a new legend just beginning to take shape. Konoha had become a beacon, but with fame came new burdens. Not all nations approved of the Leaf's open arms. Envoys from the Stone, Cloud, and Mist villages arrived, demanding to know how Konoha would control the devil fruit users now living within its walls. Tsunade faced them in the council chamber, her presence calm but unyielding. "They are under my protection. Any village willing to treat them as human beings may learn from us. If not, Konoha stands alone." The stone envoy glared. "You would risk war for these outsiders?" Tsunade's voice was steel. "We risk everything if we abandon what makes us human." Naruto's burden. Naruto, meanwhile, found himself the focus of new suspicion. Some villagers now looked to him for leadership, while others feared he was drawing too much attention, making the village a target. He wrestled with his role. Was he a protector, a symbol, or just a boy who wanted his friends safe? Irika found him brooding on the academy roof and joined him in silence. "You can't carry the whole world on your back, Naruto," Irika finally said, gentle but firm. "You just have to do what's right, one day at a time." Naruto managed a crooked grin. "That's what got me this far." Team 7's next test. That afternoon, Tsunade summoned Team 7 and their closest friends. "We have a new mission. Stone has reported missing devil fruit users near our border. I want you to investigate quietly. If they're running from danger, help them. If not, find out who is pulling the strings." Sakura nodded, determination lighting her eyes. "We're ready." Shikamaru studied the map, muttering, "Troublesome politics. But we can handle it." Naruto clenched his fist, resolve freezing doubt in its tracks. "Let's show everyone what Konoha stands for." Tetsuya's decision. As they prepared to leave, Tetsuya approached Naruto. "Let me come. If we find anyone like us, maybe they'll trust me. Maybe I can help." Naruto smiled, clapping him on the shoulder. "We're stronger together. Let's go." A world watching. As Team 7 left the gates, messengers carried word to every corner of the shinobi world. Allies and enemies alike watched, waiting to see if the legend of Konoha's unity would hold or crack under the price of peace. And above it all, the sky rumbled, a promise that the next storm was already on its way. The woods along Konoha's northern border were thick and silent, the air heavy with tension. Team 7 moved with care, Naruto and Sakura at the center, Shikamaru and Neji scouting ahead, Kiba and Akamaru weaving through the brush, and Tetsuya close behind. Each step forward felt like a test of trust for themselves and for the world watching from the shadows. As dusk fell, they found the first signs of trouble: broken branches, hurried footprints, and the metallic tang of blood on the wind. Neji's Byakugan swept the area, picking out chakra signatures clustered in a shallow ravine. 5 people, Neji reported. "They're young. One's wounded. But there are others, hiding, waiting." Naruto exchanged a look with Tetsuya. "We go together. No one gets left behind." A risky approach. They advanced quietly, Tetsuya moving ahead with hands raised, calling out, "We're not enemies. We're here to help, if you want it." A tense pause, then a pale-faced boy emerged, clutching his side. His arms flickered with glassy scales, a devil fruit user. Behind him, two girls and another boy stood, wary and bruised. "Who are you?" the leader demanded. Tetsuya nodded. "We're from Konoha. I'm like you. I know what it's like to run." But before trust could grow, a barrage of kunai rained down from above. Hidden stone shinobi, faces masked and eyes cold, surrounded the clearing. "Those are our prisoners," their captain barked. "Step aside, Leaf. This doesn't concern you." Naruto stepped forward, frost shimmering at his feet. "Everything that happens to people like us concerns me. We don't turn our backs on anyone." A standoff. Shikamaru signaled quietly. Positions, escape routes, every move mapped out. Sakura tended the wounded boy, her chakra steady even under threat. Kiba and Akamaru watched the flanks, ready for trouble. The stone captain sneered. "You want to fight over some freaks? Fine. Let's see what Konoha is made of." For a moment, violence hung in the air. But Tetsuya spoke first, voice ringing clear. "We're not freaks. We're shinobi, and we protect our own." The words gave the border kids courage. Together, they stood with Team 7, refusing to be swept away by fear. Breaking the chain. As the tension peaked, Niji's voice cut through the dusk. "Stone's Ambu are watching. They want to provoke a war. If we fight here, we all lose." Shikamaru stepped up, hands in his pockets. "Or we show them something better." Naruto looked each of the devil fruit refugees in the eye. "You can come to Konoha. Or, if you want, we'll help you get somewhere safe. The choice is yours." After a long silence, the wounded leader nodded. "We'll trust you." The stone shinobi grumbled, but with witnesses on all sides, they couldn't risk a larger incident. They vanished into the trees, their threat left hanging. The road home. As darkness fell, Team 7 led the new arrivals toward the safety of Konoha. The price of peace was still high, but for one night, hope won out over fear. Sakura smiled as she walked. "Maybe this is how it starts. One rescue at a time." Naruto nodded, heart full. One rescue at a time, until no one has to run again. Above the border, the first stars appeared, and the fragile thread of unity stretched just a little stronger. By the time Team 7 and their charges reached Konoha's gates, the sky was streaked with gold. News of their safe return traveled faster than they did. Villagers, shinobi, and even skeptical elders waiting at the entrance as Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Iruka stood at the front. Naruto entered first. The rescued devil fruit users clustered close behind him. Sakura smiled at Hana and the other newcomers, seeing not fear, but hope reflected in their eyes. Tetsuya walked with pride, no longer shrinking from the stares of strangers. Tsunade welcomed each new arrival with a nod, her voice steady. "You're safe in Konoha. Here, you will be seen for who you are, not what you can do." Jiraiya clapped Naruto on the back, his smile half proud, half wistful. "You've done more than I ever could, kid. The village is changing because of you." Farewell and promises. That evening, a feast was held in the village square. Villagers mingled with the newcomers, laughter and music blending beneath lantern light. For the first time, it felt as if the scars of old battles and old fears were truly healing. Tetsuya stood with Naruto atop the Hokage monument, looking out over the shining village. "I never thought I'd find a place to belong," he said softly. Naruto grinned, the frost in his blood calm and steady. "I told you, if I can find it, anyone can." Below, Sakura joined them, her eyes bright with hope. "We're not done yet. There are still people out there who need us. But for tonight, let's celebrate what we've built." Sasuke's shadow. Far away, beneath a sky heavy with stars, Sasuke sat in silent training. Orochimaru watched, hungry for power, but Sasuke's thoughts wandered to Konoha. Team 7. Laughter, promises made beneath the old trees. "Wait for me," he thought. "This isn't over. A new era begins." Tsunade addressed the crowd as the moon rose. "Tonight, we honor courage, not just in battle, but in the willingness to trust, to change, and to build something new. Konoha stands as a beacon, not because we are perfect, but because we choose hope over fear." Cheers rang out, echoing off the walls and rooftops, reaching every corner of the village. Naruto stood with his friends, the bonds they'd fought for shining brighter than ever. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, Akatsuki, Orochimaru, and storms yet unseen. But for now, there was peace, unity, and the promise of a future forged together. A final glimpse. As the festivities faded, Naruto looked up at the stars, the wind cool on his face. "I'll keep my promise. I'll protect everyone, and I'll bring Sasuke home." A new dawn broke over Konoha, bright, cold, and full of hope for all who called it home. And that wraps up today's story. What if Naruto ate Hie-Hie fruit? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did putting it together. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment with your thoughts or your own what-if ideas. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.